My name is Aidan, also known as Turtle Boy.
He is a senior editor for Turtle Boy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtle Boy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You did not say that you were going to take my baby out of her vent and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I
know you. People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
Hey! Oh, well, how do I get rid of that goddamn thing? Hold on. We got to get rid of that. We're off to a bad start. We can't have that on the screen. Okay, that's better. Anyway, what's up, people? So this is gonna be different tonight. I'm in a car because I have to be in a car tonight because I'm still in Truro, and it's been really crappy here, so you can't even go to the beach or anything. But I've been working all week, so it doesn't really matter. But we're staying here till Thursday, so I gotta work at a car because it's like one of these Cape homes where there's like a loft upstairs, and the kids can hear you, and they're like staying up way past their bedtime because they're on vacation and they're in a routine. So I'm trying to like wait them out. Hopefully they're asleep by 10. I go back in there and we'll go live from the bathroom. We're going to do a bathroom live if we can, because I might run out of juice in the car. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. But yeah, anyway, so this is going to be different. I'm going to try to look into the camera as much as possible, but I have this whole, I got the computer in front of me too, but we also have a guest tonight. I'm going to bring on my buddy, Dave. How you doing, Dave? Welcome aboard.
What's up, buddy? Thank you so much for having me on maybe the biggest Turtle Boy episode ever. So thank you.
Yeah, it's looking like a big crowd. So it's a comeback episode. My first one back from vacation, and obviously a lot has happened that we need to get into. So yeah, we're gonna dig into that. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Dave McGrath. True crime author, investigator, longtime turtle rider. Been a turtle rider since Busgate. Huge fan. I used to go on your blog to just see like which ratchet from my high school was featured on Turtle Boy, and that way I could pass it around to everybody. But I really started taking you seriously as a journalist during the 2017 killing of Ron Tarantino, which you covered in extraordinary detail. And that's when and as soon as I read your first blog on this story, I fucking knew it. I knew we were in for the crime of the century. So I'm glad to be here to talk about it with you.
Well, welcome aboard. And I saw you on Yellow Cottage Tales there, who kind of held the fort down while I was gone. And a reason I wanted to have you on, and we're going to get into it tonight, was the Google search thing. And you kind of you took my position on that. And we do have some new information on that kind of hasn't come out. And I'll explain as the show goes along what we're going to talk about. So I won't tease that too much, but tonight's agenda, guys, we are going to definitively nail down the Jennifer McCabe 227 Google search. That is no longer going to be up for debate after tonight's show. That's one thing I can promise you. Michael Proctor needs to be in handcuffs. That's another thing that's no longer going to be up for debate tonight. And so we'll be talking about all sorts of stuff, the issues and everything that happened. So before we do that, guys, just real quick announcement here before we get started. I've shared, I don't even think I've shared this on social media, but follow the social media accounts that we currently run. By the way, if you're new here, there's like 2,700 people here right now. My name is Aidan, but you can call me Clarence, or you can call me Uncle Turtle Boy. A lot of people call me, but I prefer doctor. Quite frankly, that's what I'm going by these days, because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor. So you can follow my Twitter account is at Dr. Turtle Boy. That's DOCTOR Turtle Boy. On Facebook, I am Clarence Woods Emerson. You can also follow the Turtle Boy page, but if you message that, you'll probably get an admin. On Instagram, we are at turtleboy_daily_news. I think I'm on TikTok. I think I've made 2 TikToks. I don't dance. I'm going to try to use that in the future, but not doing the dancing portion of that. Most importantly, make sure you have smashed that subscribe button, because we do this every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. So you're going to want to make sure you do that, and hit the notification bell, because we do a lot of impromptu lives like we did last night, an unscheduled live stream. So make sure you do that. And honestly, the way things have been going, guys, I see a lot of trips to Canton in my future, a lot of protesting. the select board meetings. Dude, we got a lot to get into. Oh my gosh. I think we're going to start with that. But anyway, if you guys want to donate to the program, unfortunately, we don't have a super chat function. They took that away from us about 2 years ago because we had the wrong opinion about healthcare choices. So we were demonetized, which is fine because those crooks at YouTube, they stole like 40% or 30% of dono chats. Anyway, we just made our own thing. It's called Turtle Chat. If you click at the link at the top, pinned to the top, that is something called Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, and I will get a notification in my email when I get a dono, and I will read it out loud to the class. You can also what else can you do? You can also cash at me $, Uncle Turtle Boy. Again, you can write a message. I will read your message out loud to the class. We've already got a couple turtle chats. Let me just run through a couple real quick to get us started. We got Jay sends $10. He says, I've never heard anybody mention body cam footage for Proctor or any first responders. Is there any? I've mentioned it, but they don't have body cam footage for detectives because they don't wear uniforms. So they just, nothing was at all with them at all. And I don't think any of the firefighters would have body cams or anything like that. Semelina sends $20, says, hi, Aidan. Thank you for streaming. Even while still in Truro, we all appreciate you. I am thrilled with the news about Lucky and Higgins. Do you think Scanlon may come forward officially with an affidavit after it is confirmed that Higgins has flipped? We'll see. And she says, P.S. Happy belated birthday to Turtle Boy Jr. Yeah, little man had his 6th birthday yesterday, so that was pretty cool. So we'll get more into that. DW sends $25, says, welcome back, Unc. Strong work again today, but by now that's no surprise. Also, can we have a 2-second pity party for Crusty Panties and then never mention her again? From her tweets, she seems to be having a very, very, very bad day. I know you have more important things tonight, but she is worthless. Yeah, I can't say I disagree with anything you said there, and you're absolutely right. We will not be spending any time on that irrelevant individual. Next, Jane sends $10. Just says thank you, Jane. Elizabeth sends $50. She says Newton, New Hampshire loves you. Keep up the great work. And Turtle Boy loves Newton, New Hampshire. Y sends $25. Says thanks. You're welcome. So there's that. Also, the Cash Apps. Got a couple Cash Apps over here. Let me just read these out loud to the class. We got, where'd they go? What's with the nips thing? Everybody's talking about my nips. Am I beaming or something? Is that like an inside joke? I don't get it. But anyway, Dr. Nips sends $5, says, I'm a forensic pathologist, and damn, I love your nips. Okay, well, thank you. Glad you like my nips. You can't milk them, though. You can't milk them. Andrea Sweet sent $25, says, forget some ice cream to celebrate Turtle Boy Jr.'s 6th birthday. Will do. Thank you very much. Liu Kang Butterball sends $10, says, for your nipples are my favorite winter weather report. What is with the nipples? What am I beaming? I don't think what? All right. Anyway, Melissa sends $20, says, for welcome back, doctor. Your voice is needed. Thank you for calling me Doctor, Melissa. I appreciate that. Deanna sends 10 and says, for Canton came in so hot. Yes, they did. So proud. So thank you guys all for that. Again, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat. I'll read those periodically throughout the show if you'd like to donate that way, and we'll do it that way. So, okay. So let's jump right into this. Let's bring Dave back. All right. So, Dave, what we're going to start with here, did you happen to watch any of the Canton Select Board Meeting stuff that went on tonight?
I did. It was suggested to me by Chief Rafferty of the Canton Police that I don't listen to you.
Oh, so I have not watched this yet. It sent it, like, I had a lot going on since that last blog, like trying to make dinner and shit, and get ready for the show. So, but everybody's been telling me that Chief Helena Rafferty ripped into me at the beginning of the select board meeting. Is that true?
That is absolutely true.
Okay.
Angela Chan O'Donnell has the whole thing streaming on her. She live streamed it, but then saved the videos and then put them out on her Facebook. That way you can view it after. But okay. I did write down a couple key points if you're interested.
Well, I got the video right here, actually.
Okay, great.
And just a reminder, guys, don't message Turtle Boy during. Did I just do something? Screen sharing. Okay. Do not message me during a show or else your messages will pop up. You don't want to be that guy. Okay, so let's pull this up. One sec. Okay, there it is. All right, here we go. This should be good.
Why? Perhaps because it would bring into question the veracity of his many other allegations and theories. Aidan Kearney has also insinuated the slanderous allegation that I had an inappropriate relationship with Chief Berkowitz, and as a result, he appointed me to my current position.
Okay, stop right there. We're off to a rough start here. She's saying that, okay, I've had a lot of criticisms of Chief Rafferty. I don't ever recall like focusing on that. I think that if anything, you'd have to play the tape, go back to the archives. But I believe other people have brought that up and suggested that they had a thing going on. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, like to make that the focal point of your speech. And like, that's what you're going to focus on of all the criticisms you got. I mean, you're going to focus on that, which maybe I made a joke. I don't know. Just shows you like, this is what they always do, Dave, is they take perfectly legitimate criticism and then they focus on that one thing that wasn't really the primary thing that you were talking about. Like I'm much more concerned about the fact that there was a cover-up of a murder in your town. I don't really care if you were sleeping with Ken Berkowitz, you know, to each their own, like whatever. But I think
it's just a really, really odd point to focus on when your town is in shambles. You have pillars of the community. Allegedly the FBI is in town and the former chief may be implicated in this. And that's the thing you decide to focus on.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, who am I sleeping with? Like nobody cares. We don't care who you're sleeping with here. We care about the murder cover up that happened in your town. Okay. Right. So let's play some.
Notwithstanding the fact that Kenny Berkowitz is not the appointing authority for this town, I can only hope that such a statement outrages everyone in this community who we fought hard against these defamatory stereotypes for decades. In the days leading up to this rolling rally, Aidan Kearney reported to everyone that Jennifer McCabe had fled to Maine to avoid this event. Again, he was disingenuous. Jennifer McCabe was in fact home when he and 75 to 80 people in 40 to 50 cars pulled up in front of her home with a bullhorn. She was inside with her husband and two of her 4 children. She watched this group of both residents and strangers converge on her home. Can you imagine the terror she must have felt for the safety of her children based on the state of the world today? Again, this is a witness in a case.
Okay, we got to stop. They really went and made Jennifer McCabe the victim?
The victim, yeah.
She really did that.
Yep.
So that Jennifer McCabe was first of all, she was not home because we got pictures of her at Gunkwit like the day before and Matt's glorious, double D's in the sunset there. And but so she's saying that like Jennifer McCabe is a victim. Why? Because we showed up at her house. Did we do anything? Like, are we not allowed to do that? What's the problem?
Yeah, they have a problem with the First Amendment in Canton, apparently. But again, this is a question I asked last week, and I want to pose again. I mean, why do I give a fuck? We have a dead cop. We have a person who diabolically made these searches, and I'm sure we'll get into may or may not lured the guy to the house. And again, why am I supposed to care about that? About how she's feeling? You should be.
Yeah, like why are we? It's unbelievable. I got the same thing at the Billerica lacrosse game. It's like you're giving this woman a hard time. She killed a cop. Am I supposed to be nice to her? She killed a cop. She Googled how long to die in cold. Are we just gonna ignore this elephant in the room? Like, hello, this woman Googled how long to die in cold while a man was not yet even placed outside in preparation of him dying in the cold, because that was the plan. It was a premeditated murder. Like, you understand that could get her a premeditated first-degree murder charge? She can do life for that. Insane.
And here you are shilling for her in front of the your city council and the residents of your city, which are paying ridiculous taxes in a very expensive town to live in. It's just, you can't, it's insane. It's so hard to wrap your mind around.
And question to Helena Rafferty, where were you if this was such a threat? Like, you have hundreds of people in your town parading through your town. We announced we were coming. Like, we were completely peaceful the whole time. Not a single one of us saw a Canton cop the entire day, and that includes when we protested at the police station. There was not a single cop in Canton the entire day. You avoided us like the plague. You're supposed to be protecting your town. If you were that concerned about this unruly mob of, like, soccer moms that showed up in your town wearing Free Karen Reed shirts, then where the hell were you to protect poor, innocent Jennifer McCabe from the First Amendment? Where were you, dear? Oh, right. Nowhere, because you're a coward. What an absolute disgrace. We got a couple more minutes. Let's watch some more of this. This is wild.
Additionally, I know it's been circulated that John O'Keefe had conversations with Canton police detectives related to drug activity in that neighborhood.
Okay, so they're going to go into this. So I wasn't around for the drug activity thing you guys talked about. I didn't really look into it much. I have no interest in that angle. Did anything come from that?
No, nothing came from it. We reported it. We had good sources on it. We ran it by the sources twice, even with the script of what we were going to say. It was signed off on. We ran with it, and the next day we had to back off of it because a lot of people got. And frankly, in my heart of hearts, I believe it to be absolutely true on some level because people got so scared after we did that show that if we're just a bunch of idiots sitting around a bar top running our mouths, I don't feel like there's anything to be afraid of. But the fact that it got so hot overnight made me think it was a little bit more realer than the people are letting on. But we did back off that reporting a little bit, and all that was just sources getting a little scared, and we were trying to protect them. Really is a lesson learned for us.
Well, I've never talked oh wait, did this fall over? God damn it. Got that fixed. Yeah. If they want to talk, I've never talked about that angle. So what is she even bringing that up for? See how she's focusing on the most irrelevant things? Can we focus on the fact, Helena Rafferty, that your officers, Gallagher, Good, and Lank, I believe, three, sergeants and lieutenants, reported that they did not find any taillight at the scene, any pieces of Karen Reed's taillight. Yet 12 hours later, the state police showed up and found all sorts of taillight. Okay. They are saying that your officers are incompetent. You have had no response to that. Why don't you, instead of wasting your time talking about, oh no, somebody said I'm banging Ken Barkowitz, anyone gives a shit who you're having sex with. No one cares, dear. Okay. Instead of doing that, why don't you focus on the fact that the state police basically called your officers completely incompetent? How about we address that elephant in the room? Why don't you make a statement about that? But you didn't do that because you want to be, oh, poor me, I'm the victim. And me and Jim McCabe, we were hiding all day. You're a cop. Why are you hiding? You're a goddamn disgrace. Resign.
Well, I'm here to confirm that. He absolutely did. He reached out to the detective unit directly. However, none, and let me repeat that, none of his well-documented correspondence with us included anyone alleged by Aidan Kearney to be involved in this case. The point I'm trying to underscore with these statements, with the examples that I put forth as well, is the same one I was trying to make in my initial statement. Take information in and verify it. Be patient while all aspects of the case unfold. This system.
Be patient while all they want us to be patient while we watch this injustice. And just be patient and watch while a blatant cover-up of a murder comes. Just be patient. You can trust us. We don't trust you, and therein lies the problem, silly. Okay, therein lies the problem. Is we don't try. Be patient, my ass. Sorry. Let's play some more.
It's painfully slow, and it should be. As the gravity of this process.
It's painfully slow, and it should be. Tell that to Karen Reed, who is paying up the ass for a crime that you know full well, Helena Rafferty. You know goddamn well that woman did not kill John O'Keefe. You know that there are bloodthirsty killers in your town. Colin Albert and Brian Albert killed John O'Keefe. If it's untrue, sue me. I keep hearing all the time, you're going to get sued. Well, let me double down on that in case I'm any bit abstract about this. Brian Albert and Colin Albert, in my opinion, murdered John O'Keefe. Sue me if I'm wrong. Dare you to. I dare you to open yourself up to discovery. I'm double daring you to. Do it. If it's untrue, sue me. Game over. This is the easiest defamation case of all time. Why don't you do it? No, we're not gonna remain quiet, Helena. I know you would like that if the public just ignored this. But we're not going away, and you're insulting the good people of Canton. You're a disgrace.
Which is, of course, what they wanted from the beginning. They wanted you to ignore it so they could force this girl into a deal, and then give her probation and then have everyone forget about it, which is what they've always wanted.
Right. Well, like, let me say, I just said somebody's like, it's an opinion, it's a fact, not an opinion. Okay, so here's a fact. Someone in the house killed him. So I wasn't there. I don't know who killed him. One of them did, because it wasn't Karen Reed. Therefore, it had to be someone in the house. You tell me who did it. We know that Brian Albert was definitely 100% involved in getting rid of the body and putting the body on loan. We know that as a fact. But what we don't know is who delivered that fatal blow. So someone in the house did do that. That is a fact, not an opinion. Let's go.
If someone is missed. Follow the actual trial. Listen to all of the information. Let the courtroom be the forum when both sides get to present their case in full. Then make your own informed decision, whatever that's going to be. I know that mistrust for the Canton Police Department has taken root around this case. Based on the feedback that I and officers have received, I'm not sure that it is nearly as widespread as portrayed by one of the speakers at the last meeting. However, I do acknowledge that it is there, and I hear you. I believe the first step in bridging that trust gap is effective and healthy communication. I'm also open to discussing ideas that residents believe will help build that fractured trust amongst those experiencing. So let me reiterate, I am willing to meet with any Canton resident one-on-one, wherever in town you would feel most comfortable, so that we can have a dialogue where you can ask questions and you can get a sense of who I am and what I stand for as a leader.
Okay. So there's an offer. She'll go out for coffee with anybody who wants to do it. So I encourage, like, let's see if she stands by it. Can't invite her out for coffee. Be like, I want to meet you here. I want to talk all about this. See if she'll take you up on it. And also, why are you doing it one-on-one? Why not just, it's a town meeting. How are you not nipping in this in the bud? Why do you want to have a private conversation behind closed doors about this? Like, this affects, Brian Albert is the prime example. His property value went down $50,000. Like, you're killing the resident, like, you are harming the residents of your town and their net worth as a result of your incompetence. Like, Canton is like, was up there with like Needham and not maybe not Wellesley, but like, like it was up there. It was a nice town. It's turning into like a Randolph, or like, it's like the property values are going to go down a bit. So
if you're a business owner, do you move your business into Canton after seeing all this shit? If you're a guy just getting out of the military and you're looking for a job, do you apply to the Canton PD after seeing all this shit? I don't think so.
I don't know, but I wouldn't. And so there was some good speeches, though. I'm going to play some speeches here from I might not have them all, but man, Chicken Parm Charlie was up there tonight. The fact that guy is still on the Board of Selectmen, that shows how arrogant he is, that he's like, I'm not resigning. Like, I'm just going to keep going at it and pretend like none of this is happening. Like, talk about arrogant. So let me pull up this, see another video of what happened tonight. Let's see this one.
You can hear me? I just want to reiterate a little bit of what the other gentleman said, that I'm disgusted with the town selectmen's behavior and silence. There is no leadership being shown. The reputation of Canton is in the toilet across the state, if not the country. And it's only going to get worse now that things are going on to national television, the news. There's going to be camera crews down here all the time.
Yep.
There's a selectman who may or may not have a conflict of interest. He should resign immediately.
Yes.
It would go a long way to the reputation of this town. You guys are hired help. You work for me.
Yes.
And us.
Yes.
And you're not doing your job.
Give it to him.
And a lot of people in this town would agree with me.
Give it to him.
Do something.
Do something about
Speak up and be leaders.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And like, look, this is beautiful. This is like, you know, what's great about this, Dave, is I didn't tell anyone to go to the select board meeting. Like, I didn't even know there was one.
Right.
They're doing this movement has taken on a life of its own, independent of me. I'm away for a week, and that Paul, you know, the John O'Keefe and Karen Reed Justice page blows up. It entertains me now. I get information from there, and it's like this. It's taken on a life of its own. This story, like, I could just step back. I guess I'm kind of like the de facto leader of this, but I could just step back and do nothing at this point and write a blog once in a while, and this will go on. Like, people are fired up. They're going to town meetings. They're putting their face out there like that. This was not happening before. People didn't want to do this before. And props to Angela Chan O'Donnell. She's kind of the first one that did it months ago. And you know, she got the look there from the egg thrower. And Julie Albert just sitting there, and Bernie Albert, the patriarch of the family.
I think
here's another
saying things like, hey, these guys, listen, you don't have to worry about them. They're not in charge anymore. I think that really buoys people towards speaking up, you know?
It's so true. And we'll get into that when we talk about Lucky today. Like, you don't, the big bad wolf is dead, guys. Like, you don't, they don't run the town. I'm the mayor of Canton. Everybody knows that. Like, I'm in charge. So you're protected. You're on my team. You're on the winning team. You don't have to worry about the bullies anymore. Let's watch this one.
89 Randolph Terrace. First, I'd like to commend all the women who have spoken at the recent select board meetings. It's important for our town to evolve into a more transparent and trusted community. I have a few comments and a request. Many residents have asked for more leadership and transparency from the police department and the select board, particularly now amid the high-profile John O'Keefe murder investigation underway and growing division throughout the town. I understand that taking greater action to communicate with residents is a challenge for this current select board, particularly because of numerous associations to this case or the Canton Police Department in one way or another. My understanding is that a few select board members have relatives who are either witnesses or being questioned, making responding to questions a conflict of interest.
Yep.
A select board member is a former Canton Police Department officer presenting potential bias. At least one select board member has a relative serving in and potentially another relative in line for the Canton Police Department.
That's chicken farm,
conflict
Charlie.
of interest.
That's chicken farm.
I feel as many residents I have spoken to that change has to happen on this select board. You men who sit here every week like dime store Indians, not commenting on any questions. I know that you're not able to comment on some questions, but this community needs answers from you. We are looking for answers from you. You cannot sit here and continue to do this week on and week out. I'm not just talking about the botched investigation into the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
Give it to him.
The past behavior of two individuals on the select board is unacceptable. One was too dismissive and eye-rolled a very respected member of this community.
That's John Connolly.
I would remind that person that you were.
So I haven't played this video. People have shared it again on the Justice for John and Karen page. John Connolly is the guy who looks like he's literally about to explode and gravy is going to pour out of his veins.
Yeah.
He has been on the Boston. Isn't John Connolly the name of the corrupt cop in the Whitey Bulger thing too?
Yeah, that was the FBI agent.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. And he's been on the select board, I guess, again, since the beginning of time. And you just look at this board, and again, I'm not one of those like identity politics progressive people, as anybody who's followed me knows. But like, it's a weird look in 2023 to just have 6 old white guys. Don't you think? Like that's up there. Like, there's no women in this town that want to run for what? Like, it just seems like if I was a woman in that town, that my voice is completely unheard because these old dudes are the only ones that run the show there. And, you know, like a woman did run against Chris Albert and she went to freaking Yale. She's an attorney. She's highly qualified. She doesn't have $65,000 in tax liens against her. She left to the guy that makes mediocre chicken parm. You know, it's like, and it's just, if she can't win, then who the hell can win? It's like the good old boys run this town. It's disgusting. And they sit up there. It's one of the most disgusting town governments I've ever seen. And there are a lot discussing town governments out there. This is hideous. These people, like the optics of them just sitting up there, ignoring all these people, like they're not the ones that elected them. We need. I feel like Canton's prime for a revolution in watching this. Let's watch some more.
For us. And if a resident makes a statement that you don't agree with or does not meet your opinion, I suggest that maybe you should save your signs and gestures till you get home. If you already haven't done so and apologized to Mr. Schumann, I select that you do.
Yeah, he rolled his eyes at the woman last time.
Yeah.
I'm aware of another member also that I saw in a video demeaning and making a sexually explicit comment
checking Palm Charlie
to another woman in a case that his family is under investigation for. You also owe the residents of this town an apology, and also the woman you made this comment to. I personally think, along with thousands of other people, you should resign.
Give it to him.
Should there in fact be 2 select board members, which there are, who do not have an associated conflict stated above, I ask that they respond in some way to the questions and concerns being voiced by this community. That you step up to the plate wherever possible so we can move forward as this investigation continues. And in closing, I ask that you consider moving your meetings in the future to a more convenient time so that the residents
what's up with 5:30?
of Canton
Good point.
will be able to attend, say like 7 o'clock or
Yeah, I think that's
7:30
fair. Good point.
after they get their kids to
Yes,
bed,
yeah.
go from work, make
Or,
supper.
or eat dinner. It's
And
a weird
also
time.
to the residents of Canton watching this at home, please do not be afraid to speak up. This is our town.
Yes.
I've lived here for 25
Give it to
years.
him.
I'm
Give it
sick
to
of
him.
it. I watch this stuff
Yes.
on TV every night.
God
I
bless this
want
man.
answers from you guys.
God, I don't
want
know
something
this
to
guy.
be done. We're not going to sit here idle. This is going to continue
Yes.
until
yes.
we get answers.
Yeah, people
Thank
are
you.
fired up. They're so fired up. I love it. Again, I don't know that man. I don't know his name. I've never talked to him before. I did not instruct him to go to the meeting or the women for him. They're doing this all on their own, and it's a beautiful, organic thing to see. Is democracy in action. People are saying enough is enough, and they're fired up, man. This is wild. People are fired up about this story. Here's one more.
That's okay.
I'm just going to read it because my heart is
It's a little
bound
blurry,
up
but
like a drum.
this is the best one. No offense to the other two.
Trish Boyden, 26 Farm Street.
She kills him.
2 comments regarding my beloved community. First, the criminal investigation to John O'Keefe's death has brought to light a lot of egregious behavior on behalf of the Canton Police Department. I read about the Plowed case and saw that the town had settled back in 2007 with our taxpayer dollars. Police Chief Bright didn't let go of the 3 officers named in the case. We know one of the officers was the first officer to enter the Albert home the morning after O'Keefe's death. And then from the evidence in solo cups to the lack of evidence in the morning to the sudden broken glass in the afternoon, the whole case seems suspect, and it points to police corruption. Why am I bringing this up? Because it impacts every single Canton citizen. It will impact our property values. People read about this case, the curious lack of leadership in this town,
That's what I was saying.
and will not consider moving to this town because of the unaddressed police corruption and or ineptness.
Yep.
If police chiefs Bright, Berkowitz, and now Rafferty can't get a handle on their force, to you, the select board, I'd like to see an agenda item on one of the next select board meetings to discuss how we as community handle this. I think there needs to be an independent audit of the force. And I know it's going to cost money, but when we settled, it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2007.
Ooh, for the Lapalata Road.
My
Yep.
second point is regarding select board member Chris Albert.
Oh, here we go.
According to the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, he accumulated $65,000 in tax liens on his property and business.
Ooh.
I don't know what. I don't feel comfortable with him making any kind of financial decision
Makes
on
sense.
Canton's $140 million plus municipal budget. His history of legal trouble, from leaving the scene of a vehicular homicide,
Oh,
an accident he caused.
she went there.
to himself
She
in
went there.
the campaign, he had zero transparency. Radio silence at candidates night on Canton Cable. He didn't bother to answer questions submitted by Sustainable Canton. What does he stand for? Why do you want to be on the board at this juncture in his life?
That's a great question.
I say do the right thing. Tell me he should resign. He's making a mockery of the board
Yes.
and of the town.
God bless that woman too. Oh, these people are so great. I love them. Oh, they're so good. It's just like it's such a valid point to be like, dude, first of all, you can't even pay your bills, my guy. And you want to run a town with a whatever, $14 million budget, whatever it is. Like, you're in charge. You can't even budget yourself. And also, like, why does Chris Albert? That's a great question, but why Chris Albert suddenly after what are you, 50 years old, however old he is. He's been in town forever, and all of a sudden, I guarantee he's probably never voted in a town election before. All of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I want to get involved in municipal politics. I want to go to these meetings every Wednesday night. What he did right after his son was involved in a murder, knowing that the Board of Selectmen, of course, are the ones that control the DPW. They're the ones that control the police department. And like, that's a big thing if your son's going to potentially be charged in this. And if a member of the DPW might have son. So I don't know if we got lost there, but can you hear me okay? Did I lose it?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. I wonder what's going to happen when the FBI truly does come in. Are they just going to steamroll everybody and just leave them?
Like, the longer this, I know some people get a little, I don't know what the word is, discouraged by the. By the way, we really have 3,800 people in here right now. That's wild. Make sure you guys screenshot this. This is a new record. Screenshot them. We're gonna imagine we break 4K tonight, and smash that like button if you haven't done so already. But yeah, like, all of a sudden, I forget, what were we talking about? I got discouraged.
We're talking about how the town
discouraged. The FBI. So yeah, like, I know you might get discouraged that nothing's happened yet, and I get it, because we're all a little bit impatient. But to me, every day that this goes on for is just more people that they're going to indict. Also, they do have other things, like they're indicting other people as well with other non-Canton stories. Other things happen. Other people break the law too. But I think that the longer this takes, the more people get added to that indictment, because it can't just be Brian Albert and Colin Albert and Jennifer McCabe. Like, it's not, they didn't do this by themselves. They could not have gotten away. Again, I blame Michael Proctor more than any of them. Michael Proctor did not kill John O'Keefe, but what he did was worse. You know, like what Colin did or Brian did or whoever was in a fit of rage in a moment. It was not likely too premeditated. I'm guessing, I hope it wasn't premeditated. But what Michael Proctor did, and you and I were discussing this earlier, you didn't understand why he's doing this. And that's
what would be, I know he did it, but like, I can't nail down what would be in it for him.
That's the sickest part about this is, like, everyone, Brian Albert has a reason to cover this up. He doesn't want to go to jail. Colin Albert, same thing. Like, they all have their reasons. Jennifer McCabe. But Michael Proctor is doing this to be cool. Like, that's the craziest part about this is, like, he's not getting a big bag of cash out of this. He's doing this to be cool. He's doing this because he wants to show these people that look what I have I'm Michael fucking Proctor. You know what I mean? I have connections. I have power. You need something, I can help you out. You know, I'm a state trooper, but now I'm a detective, and now I get to wear my polo shirt to work, and I get to hang out with the other skinheads. And dude, can we just talk about his nickname? Is goddamn Bear? Like, Bear, yeah. What kind of narcissist has the nickname goddamn Bear? If your nickname is Bear, you should be like 300 pounds and have an extremely hairy chest. Like, he does not. I guarantee that guy shaves his chest. And so it's like, give me a break. He's a pretty boy, bald guy. Like, dude, stop it, Proctor. Stop it.
Yeah, but it's got to go. It's got to go above. No, it's got to go above, because the misspellings on the reports, and you know, I've talked a lot about that on YCT. It's just, someone's got to look at that. A captain, a lieutenant's got to look at that, and someone has to be looking the other way on that.
Like Brian Tully.
Yeah.
Two people, Brian Tully and Yuri Bukaki. They are the two ones. Like, Bukaki is his immediate boss, and the supervisor for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office is Lieutenant Brian Tully. And so they put their name on every report. Colonel Maughan the other day at the graduation made a speech in which he said essentially that your name. We should play that. Let's play that right now. This was interesting.
And I've graduated 2 academies, and I can tell you, they fucking hammer that. They hammer it. It's a legal document going in front of the judge. They hammer it.
Right. So let me pull up this speech. Give me one moment. Yeah, man, we got a bunch of turtle chats to get through here too. I'm going to read the moment. But let me bring up, the website's a little slow today, guys. In case you haven't noticed, we're getting a lot of traffic first day back.
It was almost like he was speaking.
Can you guys, is my mic okay, guys? Yeah, that's what I think Sean in the Gulf was saying. I don't know if it's weird. We can debate that in 1 second. What is this font? That's new. All right, let me play this. If it plays.
The second C is courteousness. Be courteous. A simple good morning, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Goes a long way.
The audio sucks.
Please, thank you. Can I help you? Extend a hand and a smile. The third C is communication skills. Written, spoken, even body language communicates. Your written reports will have your name on them. Early in your career, be read by people who don't yet know you. Write them as if your reputation depends on them, because it does. Supervisors throughout the chain of command will read your reports. So will prosecutors, defense attorneys, and people from other agencies. Clerks and judges will review your affidavits.
So the audio. Oh wait, was there no audio at all? Or
no, you could
you
hear
guys,
it. It
was
just
it
very low.
Okay. Yeah, it sucks. So I'll summarize what he said. He's basically saying that be careful with your reports because people are going to read them. You think that was a shot at Proctor and the misspellings?
What I meant was it sounded like he was talking directly to him. And I do, because what an embarrassment this is going to be when it all comes out in the wash for that organization. And everything he said, he just said the biggest buzz phrase you hear in every academy, I've heard it forever, is write a report like your life depends on it. Like someone who you don't know is going to read it, a circuit judge, a Supreme Court judge. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. I lost you a little bit there.
Yeah, I can hear you.
And that's a buzz phrase that is said in every academy forever. So it's just, as soon as I saw in your blog that report was written like that, with the names not taken off the license, with no license copies attached, I knew that this was something was going on that was more nefarious than just a girl, running into her boyfriend drunk in a snowstorm.
Okay. Are we okay? Are we streaming okay? Mine's like, I don't know if I'm delaying. Let me see on my YouTube. Make sure it's on.
When we talk.
Can people hear us okay?
Yeah, can everyone hear us in the comments?
Okay. Okay. Okay, I guess it's working. I'm looking on YouTube. It's working okay. All right, cool. Anyway, yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me read a couple donos, guys. Let me read a couple donos, and we'll get back to the content here. I'm at 64% on the juice right now, so might have to go inside and charge at some point. All right, let me read these turtle chats. All right, first one we got Annette sends $100. She says, no question here. Just wanted to say thank you. I know you're not like the rest and doing it for clicks and views. You do it because you care, and that's why I want to say thank you, by the way. Are you sure you're not from New York? You operate like us. Do I? No, thank you. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much, Annette. Marianne sends $25, and she says, marry me, Aidan. No, once is enough. I'm good. Thank you. But I love you, Marianne. Appreciate it. Brian sends $25. He says, thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you very much for watching and donating. Mike sends $25. Says, keep it going, Doc. Welcome, Dave. I'm enjoying the book. You got a book writer out there, Dave. There you go. Brenda sends $10. Says, thanks for reporting the real news. Keep up the great work. And thank you, Brenda. We will do just that. Mary Kate sends $10. Says, keep up the great work. We'll do, Mary. M sends $10. Says, after David Town supports Turtle Boy. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Absolutely. Thank you. Dave sends $10. Says, how long do you think until it crumbles and the FBI starts making arrests? Again, I have no way of knowing, but I think it's coming after the Lucky Loughran conversation I had. I think it's coming sooner than I thought. And who do you think will be arrested first? I think they're all going to be arrested on the same day. When they do this, it's all going to come down. It is going to be a glorious day when that happens. Like, picture the headlines. Oh, I'm going to be like, dude, I'm going to get, like, I don't want to get graphic here. Like, the biggest erection of my life. Like, when that, like, it's going to be uncontrollable. Like, I'm going to need, it's like one of those Viagra commercials. Like, I'm going to have to call a doctor. Like, it's not going to go down. It's going to be a real problem. So, yeah. So who do I think gets arrested? So I've done this before. I'll do it again. Give it a quick run on who I think is getting arrested. Michael Proctor, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, Jennifer McCabe. I think Matt McCabe will be charged with something. think Ken Berkowitz is going to get charged. I think Michael Morrissey is going to be charged. I think Adam Lally is going to be charged. Brian Higgins will be charged. Like at least 10 people, maybe Julie Nagel, although I think they're going to get her to snitch. So it could be so many people. I'm probably missing a shitload of people too. At least 10 people I think are getting charged when this is all said and done. That's my guess right there. What else we got here? Let's see. Christine sends $25, says, hope vacation was great. Nice to see you back with a vengeance, Dr. Turtleboy. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Christine. Nice to be back. Love the Nips sends $50, says, shirtless lives from the beach to keep Miss Kerry happy. I burn like a motherfucker. Don't use expired SPF. I'm telling you, I got a wicked bad burn from that, but I think I'm doing okay. Thank you. What's with the Nips thing? Jeff's Drain sends $100. Thank you, Jeff's Drain. Says, keep up the great work. Journalism, Jesus. Oh, I like that one. That's a good one. If Kirk Minahan is podcast Jesus, then I'm Journo Jesus. I like that one. Journalism, Jesus. We got to get shirts made. That's brilliant, Jeff Drains. Thank you. Journalism, Jesus. Anonymous sends $10. Says, Doctor, give us the news. Turtle Riders are loving you, and we're loving you too, Anonymous. Thank you very much. Deanna sends 20 and says, Rafferty threatening the Canton residents that partake in the Justice for John and Karen Facebook page speaks volumes. Talking about the page threatening and intimidating, while threatening and intimidating is cray. Maybe I missed part of that. I'll have to get the whole thing later. Her saying the community needs to heal and come together was wild and ridiculous. And the laughs from the residents confirmed it. I mean, yes, seriously, read the room. If everyone's laughing at you, read the room. Aidan, send Lucky my love. Oh, we're going to send Lucky lots of love tonight. You're goddamn right about that. Thank you. Maureen sends $10. Says, great job as always. Thank you very much, Maureen. Jamie sends $25. Says, taillights are red. Lally's feeling blue. Proctor's going to jail along with everyone at 34 Fairview. Thank you for continuing to fight for Karen, John, and this egregious corruption. When justice finally prevails, I'm getting you a gift card to D&E. Mediocre chicken palm subs for everyone. Maybe we can give them to the homeless or something. They probably wouldn't even want them. You couldn't get rid of those things at Meth Mile. We got a couple cash apps here too. I think this was ringing. So let me check my cash apps here. What was the last one we read? Okay. We got Daniel sends 25. I know where you read Daniel's. Blurred Line sends $20. Says, please don't do the bathroom live. I might have to. If I'm at 59% juice, I got to charge it sometimes. We might do the in the line. Charlie Nesbitt sends $10. Says, thanks for all you do. # free Karen Reed. Thank you very much, Charlie. My pleasure doing that. Robin Spinella sends $10. Says, Daddy, we missed you. Kids were crazy in the chats. Well, Daddy's home, and we're going to be back, and things are going back on. Let's see. Brooke Frechette sends $25. Says, for free Karen, let's go. You goddamn right about that, Brooke. And Mr. Cheesecake sends $20. Does not leave a comment, but thank you very much, Mr. Cheesecake. Okay. So somebody's saying keep my car on and charge. The car is on, but I don't see. It's like, look at freaking Apple, man. Like Apple does this with their product. They make it so it's incompatible with anything. This plugs into nothing. Right. So like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Like, first of all, they have they both ends at the same. Whatever happened to this thing? This used to be the thing. This goes into everything.
You need a mobile power station. That's what you need.
Apparently, I have to bring my own generator. Or I can just go to the bathroom and live stream from the throne. I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. Okay. So yeah. All right.
And you're
so again,
I don't think anything could have been better than the night that Trump beat Hillary. That was the best non-marriage, non-child event of my life. But the perp walks with these guys might be better.
Yeah, that was the most surprising night I've had. I was still shocked. I still can't believe that happened. But the thing, I was thinking about that today. As you know, I'm a pretty political guy. If you've been following this for a long time, I'm the biggest Ron DeSantis fanboy in the world, and he's running for president. And I'm just not following any of it because I'm so invested in the story that I just stopped caring about politics. It's like I was like the biggest political head ever, and I just stopped talking about politics because like Canton dominates my life now, and it's much more interesting because even in politics, it's like, you know, it's divisive, and if you're going to piss off half the people no matter what position you have, whereas like this is a pure case of good versus evil. So I feel pretty comfortable about the position I'm taking on this one, and I know it's not going to. The only people I'm going to offend are assholes. So there's that.
Well, DeSantis is now mainstream, so that's what I can catch you up on somehow.
Is he losing still?
Yeah, he's getting
over. I don't even know. Okay, anyway, go
ahead.
God damn. Anyway, my guy's done, so we'll see. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the next topic here. I want to talk about my discussion with Lucky Loughran. Now, let me bring this up. And by the way, if anyone else wants to donate, the link is to the Turtle Chat is pinned to the top of this chat, or you can go and you can $ Uncle Turtle Boy me on Cash App. Okay, so I want to be very careful with this and clear about where I'm coming from with this. So, as you guys know, a few months ago, we first reported the name of the plow driver who plowed 34 Fairview Road the morning of January 29th, 2022. His name is Brian Lucky Loughran. Now, it really sucks because he didn't sign up. Brian Lucky, as we'll call him, is a really nice guy who didn't sign up for any of this. He has been plowing the roads of Canton for the last 18 years. He's lived in Canton most of his life. He seems content with his life. He likes his job. He seems like, by all appearances, a really swell fella. He did not sign up to be the main witness in a murder case. But unfortunately, they put him in this position. And he does not want to be in this position. And I get it. I get where he's from. It's completely unfair. But like Cato Kalin didn't want to sign up to be it. And I know who he is now. It's like, then OJ went and stabbed someone. So now he's Cato Kalin or whoever, you know, like think of how many people are famous witnesses from a murder case that like they didn't sign up for that, but like, unfortunately, this is where you're at. You know what I mean? So we need to talk about Lucky. So Lucky is the brother of town selectman, who is one of the guys up there, Michael Loughran. And so he's connected, you know, I guess connected in town. Like he knows, everybody knows Lucky in town. Like everybody's talking to me knows Lucky. He's like a nice guy. And he just plows the roads and keeps to himself. And, you know, his really tragedy struck him. His wife died not too long ago. And, you know, he didn't sign up for any of this shit. But again, here we are. And unfortunately, Michael Proctor has kind of brought him into this with his fake reports and his lying and his cover-ups. So we found out again that this guy is the one who first plowed the roads that morning. And I contacted him on social media back in June or whatever. And I go, did you plow 34 Fairview Road that morning? And I'll keep your name out of it as I don't want you to get dragged into this. And he goes, I'm not answering any questions anymore. And I'm like, anymore? So that was like, okay, who'd you talk to? That was like a sign of like, who'd you talk to before that? But he wouldn't talk to me. And so that was his choice. And I'm like, well, as far as I was concerned, it seemed Lucky was kind of helping to cover up. But I think I misinterpreted him. And I think he seems like an actually really nice guy who just really wants nothing to do with any of this. But unfortunately for Lucky, he doesn't have a choice because Karen Reed didn't sign up for any of this either. And, you know, whatever hardship Lucky's going through with this, like, just, I would encourage him to put yourself in Karen Reed's position. You know, would you want your loved ones to go through what she's going through? That's not fair. And you, my man, have the ability and the power to end this. Like, you are the seminal witness in this. And he, like I said, he was definitely the one who reported it. And so I'm like, so why has Michael Proctor must have interviewed Lucky, right? Like, nope, they've never spoken before. And like, which is just absolutely wild. You know, Proctor did not interview him because he knew that if he put it on record that he didn't see a body there, that it would implicate Proctor's friends. And when Lucky's wife, Michelle, tragically passed away, look who's there, like a succubus. Chris Albert saying, oh, you need some food? I'll help you out. Okay. This is Jill Daniels with Colin Albert's little brother, and Michelle Loughran. I've been calling Loughran. It's Loughran, with Brian's deceased wife, Michelle. So they know them. Like they're, like Chris Albert is going to exploit this relationship for all he can. And again, I think this is another reason he got on the board of selectmen, is because he wanted to be able to control this dude, And so there's his brother. Let's see. There's his brother Mike with Jill Daniels. And then again, this is the select board. Okay. I would like to point out, like, of the people up here, Chris Albert had a son inside 34 Fairview Road that night. Charles Duty had a daughter inside 34 Fairview Road that night. He's the town administrator. Her name was spelt wrong in the report too. I think this is Mike Loughran. Had a brother that drove by and is the most important witness in the case. So I interviewed Lucky, and Massachusetts, as you guys know, is a two-party consent state. So you need you can't tape a person. So luckily I have a photographic memory, and I just wrote it all down afterwards. I'm like, I remember every single word that was spoken, and I just, wrote it all down. And so this is how the conversation went. I said, did they say you couldn't speak with police, Lucky? No. They said, as long as the police have ordered the testimony, I can speak. But it's got to be attached to a subpoena or a badge. So like somebody in town is telling Lucky Loughran, you can't speak. What right do they have to tell him that you can't exercise your First Amendment rights? Any? Like I must have missed that. Like, you can talk, but you can only say the things we allow you to talk about. Like, sure, you witnessed, you're like, you have critical information about a murder, but you can't talk to the media. Why? Well, because I said so. Okay. I talked to the FBI once already. And as soon as I heard that, Dave, I'm like,
wow.
You did what?
Wow.
You did what? You talked to who? You talked to I'm like, you talked to the FBI and the private investigators? And I go, Karen Reed's private investigators? Yes. I go, did you sign anything with them? Like an affidavit, or anything like that? And he goes, no, there was no affidavit, but they were given the route, how I did the route, when I did the route, and when I go and plow that route. They took me to Fairview, and I showed them what I did from Dedham Street to Cedar Crest to Fairview. So he took the FBI agent and Karen Reed's private investigator and took them for a tour of Canton of what he did. Now, and then he goes, did you tell them that when you went by the house that there was no body? Yes. He says yes, that when he went by the house, there was no. As soon as I heard that, Dave, it's like, holy shit, game over. Like that, like to say, because if there was no body there, then that means that that Karen Reed didn't kill John O'Keefe. And he could only be in the house. Of course, we know he was in the house for 1,000,001 reasons, but that is the final nail in the coffin. And eyewitness testimony. They cannot say, like, the Google search is just broken. It's just wrong. So Lucky Loughran's just wrong. He is telling you that he went by and he would have been along the right-hand side of the road. They're specifically trained, these people, especially around fire hydrants where John's body was found, not to plow in the fire hydrant. And there's no way that body was 12 feet from the curb and he did not see it at 2:30 in the morning, illuminated by the fresh snowfall and about probably an inch of snow tops at that point. So there was no body in the snow. Case over. Like, that's it. Right. And he goes,
it makes you wonder what we're still doing here. Like, why were we just there at the Canton courthouse a few weeks ago? And I'd love to know when he talked to the FBI and why are we still going down this ridiculous show trial route?
He talked to the FBI in around May. and
Wow.
I believe, yeah, and he spoke with. So that shows, like, that's when I started reporting on it. The FBI reads the blog. Like, we've like they somebody's going to jail for the friggin' January 6th because of me. Because that guy, like, I saw that. That's another story we're getting into. But the guy that owns the store in Fall River that was involved.
I remember the blog.
Yeah, he threw the smoke grenade into the Capitol, and I like narked on him, and now he's fucked. So anyway, so like they definitely are following the blog. Now, Karen Reed's attorneys spoke to him much earlier, I believe, or maybe not the attorneys, the private investigator. He said he hasn't spoken with their attorneys, so he spoke with a private investigator. He said back in like either February or March of last year, so that like 2022. So these are totally separate times. Now, to me, if I'm using common sense here, I know that, okay, so he spoke with Karen Reed's private investigator, right? And then obviously then David Yannetti would want to speak to him and get him to sign an affidavit. He told me he never signed anything, which tells me, like, David Yannetti's not just going to be like, oh, well, like, that means that he probably ghosted David Yannetti, I'm guessing, because somebody got to him. Somebody found out, just like with Steve Scanlon. Steve Scanlon did the same thing. Steve Scanlon is the initial whistleblower who was happy to go forward. And then people found out he was talking, and he's like, shit, I don't want to go on record. I don't want to go on record, because they were scared. And so, come out wherever you are, like, and see what you got to say.
Wasn't it Lucky who signed an affidavit at one point, but then recanted that affidavit? Correct. The Plow driver. He told me he never did. So okay, I think I'm mixing him up with Scanlon. Actually, I apologize. Yeah.
So he says, I go, what time did you go by? 2:30, 3? And he goes, somewhere around then. The FBI says they have GPS at 2:30 going by that house. Whoa. I go, the trucks have GPS in them and they're working? Yes. Because I think they said the truck's GPS were not working. No, I just know that all the trucks have GPS in them. So that means that that the FBI pulled him aside. Like, here's what I'm guessing happened. He didn't want to cooperate. He wanted to be like, just leave me alone. Let me plow my roads and live in Canton and just leave me alone. Okay. And because I didn't sign up for any of this. I get that. But then eventually they said, no. You don't have that option. You're a witness in a murder trial. You have to talk. And we know you were there, Lucky, because we have GPS. So that means the FBI agent confronted him and said, with that data, and said, you need to do this. And I think that's when Lucky was probably starting to shit his pants, be like, am I going to get in trouble? I don't want to get in trouble for this. I didn't do anything wrong, and nor should you, Lucky. So you got nothing to worry about, my dude. Like, all you got to do, I hate to say this as a conservative, but you got to trust the FBI,
Yeah.
But it's your only choice. All right. So he goes on to say, I go, when did you last speak to the FBI? About a week after my wife passed away. So she passed away in April. I said, I'm sorry to hear about your wife. I appreciate that. Did you happen to see any cars parked in front of the house? He goes, there was one. Now, I should have worded this differently. I should have just said, what was it? Instead, I said, was it Brian's Ford Edge by any chance? And then he said, no, it was a Ford Edge, but it wasn't Brian's. So stop right there, okay? Okay, so how does he know it wasn't Brian's Ford Edge? He didn't tell me what color it was. Brian drives a black Ford Edge, and he did not tell me what color it was or anything like that. I'm not sure how he can be so sure that it wasn't his, but he did notice it was a Ford Edge. And that right there immediately eliminates 99% of the population who does not own a Ford Edge. Do you own a Ford Edge?
I do not.
Yeah. Like, does anybody in the comments own a Ford Edge? Like, I know they're a somewhat popular car, but probably like 1% owns a CRV, 1% owns an Accord, 1% owns a whatever, an Altima. Like, it's a very specific car, and it was parked in front of Brian Albert's house after his first sweep through. He was gonna do a second sweep through. They're not popular. I don't know. Like, they're Fords. Fords are the second most popular car brand in the country. Like, it's a popular car. Anyway, so he goes by the first time, he plows it at 2:30. Then he's going to do a second sweep. Now people are like, why is he doing so many sweeps? He's a plow guy. What the fuck else is he going to do? He's just going to drive around and plow. Like, what else is he going to do? Is sleep? So he's going to plow. And so he goes back to Fairview and he's like, there's a car there. I don't want to plow the guy in, but you're going to remember that. Like, that car wasn't there before and it's there now. And that is the exact spot where John O'Keefe's body was later discovered by Karen Reed at 6 a.m. So immediately you're going to think, what was that car doing there? Well, in my opinion, and I don't know this is a fact, it would seem logical. I believe that Lucky is mistaken, that was Brian's Ford Edge. Because what are the odds that a Ford Edge owner, like a Ford Edge, just came and parked right there at that time? I think there's a much better chance that Lucky is mistaken with that. Now, I think that the car was used as a shield because of those ring cameras across the street.
Of course.
And that they were going to drag the body through the hatchback in the basement. There's a hatchback in the basement. And that fence opens up on the other side. And you got a little protection from the trees there. And that would be the most logical way that you could hide bringing a body out there, is to use the car as some sort of shield. Like, did you agree that's the most logical?
Yeah, I agree with your theory. I agree with that theory 100%. I'm just wondering why he said to you, did you press him on why he believed that edge wasn't Brian's? Like, what about that edge was different than Brian's edge that he's normally seeing?
Dude, I was so nervous during this interview. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't believe he was talking to me. I thought he was just going to hang up on me like Lizzie Proctor did. He just kept talking. And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think this was going to get a full interview out of you. So I asked the questions I could ask in a short amount of time. It was a 5-minute conversation. And I feel like I got a lot out of him. And some really interesting stuff there. He goes on to say, I wasn't trying to attack you with that blog, but what happened in that house is so messed up. Not only is an innocent person being blamed for this, but John O'Keefe will never get justice as long as this disgrace continues. Right, he says. I go, you have the power. The fact that you went there at 2:30, didn't see a body, is game over. Did you ever speak with Michael Proctor? Did he ever interview you? Answer, no. No. Dude, wow. Michael Proctor's done a lot of fucked up, unforgivable shit in this whole thing. But to not even interview the man who is very willing to talk. He's like, I will speak with anyone with the badge. Like, if you, or a private investigator. Like, if you come to me, I will tell you whatever you want to know. Mike, and he admits, I'm the guy that went by 34 Fairview Road. And the lead investigator did not even try to talk to him. Why do you think he didn't talk to him?
And didn't Proctor also write in his report that the GPSs were not
functional? Oh, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But like, why didn't he talk to him? Well, there's only one reason.
He doesn't want to know what he has to say. What he has to say is not in line with his story.
The same reasons that he didn't pull the 2 minutes of the Canton Library tape disappeared. The same reason that he did not go door to door on Cedar Crest asking people for ring camera videos that would have shown the state of Karen Reed's taillight, because he knew what was going to be on those videos and he knew what Lucky Loughran was going to say, and he didn't want to hear it because that would, he has one mission: save the Alberts, protect the Albert. Again, why? Because these guys all look at every picture of Brian Albert and all these dudes together. They look at him like a god. And let's also forget, he is the younger sister of Courtney Proctor, who is literally best friends and family with the Chris Albert clan and Jill Daniels. Yeah. And so, and Michael Proctor's mother seems to adore the Albert children, like Colin and Dylan. And it's just I bet you there was so much family pressure from
what it is.
Even his mother and people you need to protect little Colin. Little Colin would never do this. And you're going to be the hero, Mikey. You're going to be the hero. You can do something good here. You can protect little Colin. Little Colin would never do anything like that. Mikey, you got these bad people, these this evil drunken woman. She's just trying to blame poor little innocent Colin, who makes videos threatening people, but he's a really sweet boy and fights a lot. But yeah, besides that, so I definitely think there was some. You talk about motivation. I think it was just a lot of family pressure, to be perfectly honest with you.
That makes a lot
And
more
it
sense.
decided to be cool.
A lot more sense.
Like you saw the comments from his mother on the Colin Albert stuff, right? Like, if you don't think I think that Chris Albert was much more central to this than even Brian Albert was. I think that Chris Albert had the line to Proctor more than Brian did. We can't establish a direct connection between Brian and Michael Proctor, but we can establish easily a connection with Chris and Michael Proctor. And so I think that very quickly after it happened, Chris Albert was either in the house or was alerted to what happened. He couldn't have been in the house because he would have driven Colin home. So I don't think he was in the house. Right. So I think that Chris Albert was alerted to it and immediately starts making phone calls. That's his son. He's going to protect this. So he's going to start getting on the phone and making phone calls. And he's probably calling Courtney Elbert Proctor and saying, you got to tell Michael, like, we need Michael to come through here. Mike, we need him. Like, this is it. Like, our family, you know us. We go back decades. We can't let this happen to Colin. Karen Reed, she sucked anyway. Like, you know what I mean? She's kind of a bitch. You've met her anyway. Like, who does she think she is? Like, she's not, like, her and John are, arguing, and she's a cunt. Fuck that cunt. Like, I said I wasn't going to say cunt anymore, but like, I'm paraphrasing. I'm saying what Chris Paul said, so it's different. Okay, so that's what I think happened.
But isn't there someone in MSP, Aidan, like a captain, Tully's boss? Don't you think? Again, that would say you didn't look for ring footage. You misspelled names in the report. Like, above Tully, who says, "What the fuck? Talk to me about this," and would blow the whistle. Maybe they already have talked to the FBI, but there's got to be somebody.
That's why Colonel Mond's words to me were useless. It's like, oh, really? Okay, cool. Well, you're the captain of the ship, so maybe you should do something about that.
Right.
Like,
you get that going on right now.
Like, Tully, you should be fired.
Oh yeah. If not,
you gotta be fired, Tully. You gotta be fired. You can't. Right. And they're just as much responsible for this as far as I'm concerned. So the conversation went on, and I said, yeah. Is this working? Hold on. Okay, there it is. Okay.
There it is.
All right. I think we're good there. All right. So he says, I go, when they reached out to you, did they put that in writing? Yes. Do you have a copy of that email from his bosses? I did not. That was printed out and placed at our break room table. So they got a memo saying, don't talk to Turtle Boy. And I go, it said, don't speak with Turtle Boy specifically. It said, if it was Turtle Boy or someone from Turtle Boy comes up to us on the road, we are to give you our names. And the comment is to be no comment. If you come and ask, we give you our names. And the only thing we can say is no comment. Okay. Now, why me specifically? Why can't you talk about what you saw? Like, so I want to know from Lucky is like, who specifically did that? Because whoever did that to you is obstructing justice and violating your First Amendment rights. They have no right to put you in that position at all. And like the fact that they didn't do it in an email tells me that they don't want a paper trail. Like they're just going to do it the old fashioned way. Like, let's just print out some flyers and put them there and whatever. And I said, are you cooperating with Karen Reed's lawyers? I have not met with them. I have only met with the private investigators in the FBI. If they reached out to you, would you talk to them? I would have to be. Like, I like the way he put that. I would have to be. This is a man who respects authority. This is a man who is more than happy and willing to participate in this investigation. All you got to do is give him a call. Like, what is stopping the Massachusetts State Police from giving this guy a call? The FBI gave him a call, and it's unfortunate that, like, Karen Reed, these private investigators don't work for free. She has to pay for what is a job that is supposed to be done by tax dollars that she pays, and she has to pay a PI to do this, and everyone's obstructing. Like, everyone's getting in the way. And so I heard shortly after this, and it's like, let me just real quick, the analysis of what I learned from this interview. I kind of bulleted it here.
Sure.
Okay. If he wanted to, so basically when the FBI confronts him with the GPS data, he no longer has the option to remain silent. It shows that he was at the house, undeniable. He did not see a body, meaning John was still inside. Julie Nagel said that she saw a dark object on the front lawn when Jen McCabe drove her home at 1:47. We now know that's a lie, that she intentionally, because of Lucky Loughran's testimony, this directly implicates Julie Nagel now for the first time in this cover-up and lie. She's no longer just an innocent bystander. She went out of her way to make up a lie to protect these people. Lucky Loughran has spoken with Karen Reed's PIs, which she's forced to pay for. That they went on this trip, the Ford Edge, blah, 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 blah. There's Brian's Ford Edge. The fact that he never spoke with him is obviously a red flag. Oh, and my big thing here, right, is that afterwards, I found out that Lucky Loughran, like he was, distraught. I'd say through people, he was like, I riffed last night. I was not intending to talk about my conversation with Lucky Loughran. I never promised any sort of anonymity or anything. I never said this is off the record. Nothing like that occurred. I wasn't expecting he was going to talk to me. He just kept talking. So I'm like, okay, because he wants to tell the truth.
Right.
He's not a bad person. He's anxious to tell the truth. So I think that it's like, if you're not going to talk to this guy who's completely willing to talk, you couldn't make it more obvious that you're trying to cover this whole thing up. And so for them to now, apparently, from what I heard, he got yelled at. Okay. And he's very worried because the number one thing in Lucky Loughran is very comfortable with his life. Okay. He's a good guy, a hardworking guy who just didn't sign up for any of this and does not want to lose his job. I think that's his number one goal coming out of this. But I would say to Lucky Loughran, first of all, my dude, will have, there is an army behind you. We are not going to let them do this. They will not dare reprimand you, fire you, nothing. They will do nothing. If they even attempt to make 1 hour less of time for him or hurt him in any way possible, I will have a mob, a swarm of thousands of people invading Canton City Hall, and we will occupy it. And we will never stop protesting. You think it's uncomfortable now? Wait till we start showing up to your little leagues. Things are about to get really uncomfortable. And that's not my fault. That's your thing. If you lay a finger on Lucky Loughran, you are going to have, you are going to see, if you thought that Karen Reed courthouse spectacle was something, that was nothing, man. Do not touch Lucky Loughran. You heard it here first. Hands off Lucky Loughran. He is 100% protected. You will not do anything to him. And so I want to assure Lucky, if he's watching right now, they're not going to do anything to you, Lucky. They will do nothing to you because we have your back. And we're 1,000,000 times more powerful than those cowards. Did you see what happened at the Canton Select Board meeting tonight? There is an army of your people in town actively revolting against authority right now, who are not putting up with this any longer, who are following every single aspect of this. We will not allow you to touch Lucky Loughran. You don't have to worry. You're going to keep your job, Lucky.
It's just amazing that it would be up to you and Turtle Riders to protect him and not say the U.S. attorney. It's amazing that you even have to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So just know that, Lucky, you don't have to, because I feel like he's just thinking that these people are powerful. He's a simple guy. And he's just thinking what if they fire me? What they're not going to fire you. So I guess they had a closed door meeting after this where they were discussing, and I think he was worrying about what are they talking about? Are they going to fire me? But no, Lucky, they're not talking about you. They're talking about how to live themselves. That's what they were talking about at that meeting, is who's going down for this? Who is what are we going to do when he starts naming us? That's what you should do. You should feel emboldened, my man. Like you are protected like you have never been protected before. Ask Karen Reed how this feels. A year ago, no one was showing up to her in court, right? All alone out there, all these assholes with the Walmart buttons showing up there, all alone. She looks happy. Does she now when she shows up to court? She looks confident because she has an army behind her. You will have that same army. Like the people that you think are scary, the big bad bullies, they got nothing anymore. They are hiding. Brian Albert fled, didn't move, fled to Norwood like a rat. They are forming private Facebook groups. And I got a blog coming on this, led by somebody who is, I refuse to even acknowledge this crack maggot, like, because I've mentioned her a million times before, and she will not be a part of this, but she has formed a support group for them on Facebook that has a grand total of 93 members in it. It's called the McCabe, Albert, and O'Keefe support group. I shit you not. And in that group, Lizzie Proctor, Kevin Albert, like I know all 93. I got a blog coming out. There's a 93 member group run by Krusty Panties and Lisa Crisilio. She is the baby mama of Tim Albert. And they act like they post pictures. They're the ones taking pictures of people who were at the Canton rally and posting them in there. And guess who saw it? 93 people. That's it. Yeah. And multiple people in that group are my people.
Right. They're there to screenshot.
They're there with me. So even the people that they trust the most, they're with me now.
Right.
They like me more than they like you assholes, because you used to run Canton and now I run Canton. I'm the mayor of Canton. So like you don't have to, like, I'm the most powerful person in Canton, Lucky. You don't have to worry about them anymore. The big bad wolf is dead. I slayed them. They're nothing. They're hiding in groups and they're pissing their pants every single day, counting down the days of their freedom. Like Jennifer McCabe is like, every day she's a free woman, she's grateful for, because she knows that she's going to spend a significant amount of time in federal prison. And it's going to be glorious when that happens. So you don't have to worry. Like what they're doing to you, Lucky, is violating your First Amendment rights and obstructing justice. It's witness intimidation, quite frankly. You are a witness in this case. We got the, what are you going to do about that, Helena Rafferty? Oh, she's a witness. Jennifer McCabe's a witness. Lucky Loughran's a witness too. What are you doing to make him feel safe?
Shouldn't she be protecting him, not you? She should be protecting him, not you.
Right. But
not
I'm the mayor, so I got to come in and save the day. Like, what the hell? I'm trying to enjoy my vacation. I have to save Lucky Loughran. Like, what the hell? So, you don't have to worry about them, Lucky. That's the bottom line here. You are safe. You are protected. You got a community behind you. And no one will lay a finger on Lucky Loughran. I just want to make that very clear.
The First Amendment.
So,
also.
There's that. Right. Yeah, you also got the First Amendment, Lucky. Like, you can say whatever you want to whoever you want if it's the truth. They cannot violate your First Amendment rights. They are not. And also, Lucky, I'd like to point out, like, your brother's on the board of selectmen. He ain't gonna fire you. Right. So, like, you don't have to worry about that. And like Chris, it makes me wonder why Chris ran for office, because he knows that Lucky is involved. He knows what Lucky saw. And he knows that I have to be able to control and have power over Lucky Loughran. That is why he suddenly has an interest in town politics.
So diabolical.
Yeah. I saw that. She said she's going to blow her brains out. I don't want to, like, I hope she doesn't. I hope nobody kills themselves, but, Anyway, let me read a couple donos here. Give me 1 sec to read some donos from the Turtle Chat. We got Kathleen sent $25. Says, incredible job you've done, Doctor. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome, Kathleen. Thanks for calling me Doctor. Christina sends $50. Says, the greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. Bob Marley. Thank you. You have done just that, Aidan. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Christina. $50. Really appreciate that. And the thoughtful quote there from Bob Marley. Michelle sends $10. Says, what do you think would be the motive for everyone in that house that night to kill him? Well, I don't think we've been over this before. I don't think there was a motive. I think they just wanted to rough him up a bit and teach him a lesson. I think Colin Albert just sucker punched him, to be honest with you. And then it escalated from there. And next thing you know, they got a guy bleeding out on the floor. It says, why do you think the people who were there were involved in it? So, yeah, we've kind of been over that a few times. Katrina says $25. Says, definitely not a government to suck this supporter. Oh, geez. But what you are doing, a hashtag free Karen Read, is fucking fabulous. I was in the courtroom behind you on the 25th, and we'll be there again on the 15th. I already asked for the day off from work. Good job, Dr. Turtleboy. Well, thank you. Yeah, with my support as DeSantis, it's like, I get it. Like, obviously, liberals don't like him, and I get it bad from them. But the Trump people give it to even worse. Like, but anyway, Tom sends $50, just says, thank you. You're very welcome. Tom, I appreciate the dono. Let me check the cash apps here. Let's see. And by the way, guys, tomorrow night, I'm going to be on Court TV. I'm doing an interview at 8 o'clock on Court TV. So mark your calendars for that. I've been invited on there. I had plans last time. I had a big business meeting. I can't get into the details of that, but big things are coming. Let's just put it that way. And we'll get it. We won't get too much into that. Let me see my cash app here. Let's see. Okay. Alex sends 15 big ones, and she says, for Carl Dougal, who's a cuck. I mean, that guy is tattooed on his forehead, that poor guy. No, fuck him. Elizabeth sends $10. Says, thank you. I appreciate that. You're welcome. Luis sends $5. Says, you can say hi to Luca. Another 5 coming. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Luis. And then he sends $10 as well. Thank you. So there's that. If anyone else wants to donate, you can $ Uncle Turtleboy on the Cash App, or you can do, what's the other option? Click on the link at the top for Turtle Chat to do it that way. Okay. So let's get back to this. All right. Let's talk about now the next piece of this puzzle, the craziest part of the story I have yet to see. By the yard. We need to just talk about this freaking story, man, because it is wild. Okay, let me pull the blog up. And man, what an audience we got tonight. This is wild. What was it, 3,800? Is that what we got up to? Is it the most we had? I don't know. Not in the bathroom. Blurred lines. There's nowhere else to go. And that's the thing. It's like, then we still haven't, man, there's like, we haven't heard that yet. You know, we haven't heard that yet. So like, that's going to be another bombshell when that, like, I've heard there's more coming on this. Like, whatever is being played out here, like that, this whole thing I'm showing you right now, this is new to me. And this is wild. This is wild. So, but let's just like, never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. Okay. All right. So this adds on to the previous blog. So on March 15th, Detective Proctor wrote a report that was reviewed by his unit supervisor, Lieutenant Brian Tully, in which he interviewed Canton DPW Director Michael Trotta in light of new information from Canton DPW Plow driver Lucky Loughran. This report directly implicates Proctor in the cover-up and shows the extent he's willing to lie in order to protect the people who killed John O'Keefe. So it's dated February 3rd. This is the day after Karen Read was arraigned for manslaughter. And he's interviewing the DPW guy. So the first thing that stands out to me is like, why are you didn't interview this guy before? So you didn't even pursue any other angles towards this. You were just like, yeah, Karen Read. Like, we're not even going to ask the plow driver, did you see a body on the road? Instead, who did they spend those 3 days interviewing? The bartenders at the Waterfall and C.F. McCarthy's, so we can know exactly how many drinks Karen Read had. Nobody gives a shit how many drinks. It does. She could have been white girl wasted. It wouldn't matter, dude. Like it doesn't change the physics of what happened. Look, if she needed her stomach pumped, it doesn't matter. Also, John O'Keefe got in a car with her. So how drunk was she? Like, stop it. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant how drunk she was that night. Anyway, so let's get back to this here. Anyway, it says, so Proctor report. So the February 3rd thing, obviously that's weird. But the report, let's just read this whole thing and then we'll talk about aspects of it. On February 3rd, I conducted a phone interview with Michael Trotta, who runs the Canton DPW. Michael assists with coordinating Plow, sending trucks during storms. Michael stated that Canton uses town equipment to treat the roads, with the exception of one company. Michael stated a company called By the Yard is used to assist the plowing roadways. Michael, we spelled Michelle there? Okay. Stated drivers met at 140 Boulevard Street at 2:30 a.m. and then left from there to clear the roadways. The company, By the Yard, was not called until 3:30 a.m. Interesting that he chose that, 3:30 a.m. Michael stated that trucks were standing earlier, but only concentrate on major roadways in Canton, and they would not travel down Fairview Road. Michael stated that all town trucks are equipped with GPS, but the system went down on January 24th, 2022. Let's start with the last part there. That even if I didn't speak with Lucky Loughran about this, the fact that the GPS in the trucks just stopped working miraculously 5 days before the most important thing that has ever happened in Canton occurs is just, it's about as coincidental as the only minutes that are missing from the Canton Library tape are the 2 minutes in which Karen Reed passed out. It's very interesting how just only things go wrong and systems break whenever Karen Reed has exculpatory evidence that can, get her off a murder charge. It's just so freaking weird. So that even without talking to Lucky Loughran, that's shady in and of itself. But then as we find out from Lucky Loughran, the FBI confronted him with evidence that there was a GPS in the truck and that it tracked him in front of 34 Fairview Road. That means that the FBI knows that Michael Proctor, they've seen this report. They know that Michael Proctor lied in this report. And they're not stupid. They are there to uncover corruption. And this is the most blatantly corrupt cop who has ever lived, Michael Proctor. And that now we know for a fact that the FBI they have to be centering their investigation around Michael Proctor. I think it's safe to say we learned that from that.
Then why are we still doing this? Then if just reading that report, why are we still having hearings, and why has the whole case haven't been thrown out? And I just don't know why they're continuing down this road.
Because court cases are not fought on YouTube. They're fought in courtrooms. This stuff has to be put into motions. And I have no doubt, like, Turtle Boy stirs the drink for these motions. Like, my conversation with Sean McCabe ends up on a blackboard that Liza Little's holding in court. Like, this is going to end up in a motion. There is no way this does not end up in a motion. There's no possible way. And by the way, like, Bev Canoni, I did another story yesterday about a murder trial. Did you happen to see this? The lesbian chick there, Alyssa Del Romano, the taco
Quincy girl.
Yeah, the Quincy girl who stabbed some guy 3 years ago. Didn't know him. She's a complete stranger. Just stabbed him, and is being charged in Norfolk Superior Court. And the judge for the last year or so in her case has been Bev Canoni, because Bev Canoni is assigned to that courtroom. On July 1st, Bev Canoni is no longer the presiding justice in this case. And you know what Judge Canoni did? In the middle of a murder trial, she stood down. And because it's Daniel O'Shea's courtroom now, and Daniel O'Shea was the judge in this case. So that shows that Bev Canoni is perfectly capable of removing herself in the middle of a murder trial. No biggie. She doesn't have to oversee it. She's personally invested in this one. But we're watching her too. Like, Bev Canoni, we're watching you too. And the feds are watching you too. You know that. So you straighten up and fly right. Anyway, so back to this situation here. So Proctor's report states that he spoke with Trotta on February 3rd. Then there's the GPS system that obviously went down, and we know that's a lie. So I thought it was suspect when I first read it. So let's just read it. It says here that Michael stated that a company called By the Yard is used to assist with plowing the roadways. Do you think, now that we know that By the Yard doesn't exist, we're going to get into that. I don't think Michael said any of this. Do you?
No, I would have a really hard time believing that he said that.
Yeah, I hope Michael Trout is I hope I don't know if we've ever shown this before. Michael Trout might never ever seen this document before. But it's an official police report. And so, like, if you're Michael Trotta, you have to be thinking, like, wait, he said, I said what? So I hope Michael Trotta, if you're watching this right now, dude,
reach out.
He's played you like a bitch. Yeah. Like, are you going to take that, dude? I came there asking to meet you a couple weeks ago, and you hid from me. and I've called and you don't return my phone calls. This is why. This is why I knew about this. So why are you protecting a guy who's putting words in your mouth? Why are you protecting this dude?
Unless, of course, Michael Trotta is like, is wanting to protect the prom king, Brian Albert, as seemingly many do. Maybe he's in on it as well. He may have just said that. So.
No, I like, he's just like, a lot of these people just want to keep a low profile, but it's like, dude, this dude's playing you in the meantime, And then he says that By the Yard was not called until 3:30 that morning. Michael stated that trucks were sanding earlier, but only concentrate on major roadways in Canton, and they would not travel down Fairview Road. So he's saying town trucks don't go on Fairview Road, only By the Yard does the side streets. Okay. But here's the problem, Dave. Yes. By the Yard, there's 3 companies that have ever been incorporated in the state called By the Yard. You can look these up on the Secretary of State's website. The first one was out of Duxbury. That was dissolved in 2012, so that's not it. The next one was a man by the name of Calvin Seaman, who lived in Norton at the time, which is right near Canton. Mm-hmm. Dissolved the company in 1998 called By the Yard. Well, that's interesting. And the third company was created also by Duncan Calvin Seaman on April 25th, 2023. So that tells us that no company called By the Yard existed on February 3rd, 2022, when Michael Proctor wrote his report. So like literally Michael Proctor made up. This shows how diabolical this dude is. Diabolical. This dude made up a fake company and blamed them, or didn't blame them, said that they plowed the road. So that gave him an excuse not to question any Canton DPW drivers, including Lucky Loughran, because Lucky Loughran doesn't work for By the Yard. He works for the town of Canton, so he wouldn't plow that road because By the Yard does Fairview Road, except it doesn't exist. And it certainly doesn't have a contract with the town of Canton to exclusively plow their side streets. Okay. So that's wild. And how about the date? April 25th, 2023 was incorporated. I wrote my first blog about this, part 1, on April 18th, 2023. By then I had done several live shows and I had expressed that I was going to pursue who the plow driver was that night. And then what do you know? Like Michael Proctor must have known, like, oh yeah, well, we need to make sure that company exists. But oops, they date them. It shows the date, so I can figure that out, stupid. So they create this company on April 25th, 2023. And I'm like, okay, so whoever this Duncan guy is, he's got to be either just like a dumb idiot who they got to like take one for the team. And they're like, well, or like, I think that's more likely that they're just like, whatever, like we got a guy. So I look up this guy. He's got a wife from Brazil who I think looks like she married him for the green card. I don't know. But she brought everything on her page is in Portuguese. And it says he's a retired CO, so works in law enforcement like they all do. And he has owned, I don't want to call it a company. Here's the deal. I got to go. I'm at 8%. So I got to go inside real quick. We're going to bathroom live right now. Time out. We're going to do this right now. Hold on one sec. Hold on. We're getting out. Let's do this. Oh boy, things are about to get interesting around here. Oh wait. Okay, got a lot of cords here. One missing.
You will see this nowhere else, folks. Nowhere else.
Yeah, the bad. I got 3,300 people about to watch me on the shitter. Well, maybe I can do the living room. The kids should be asleep right now. Hold on. Okay. Actually, yeah. Maybe we'll do it from the living room. All right. So I got everything. Got the keys. All right. I think I got everything. All right. We're good. All right. Here we go. We're going. making a break for it. All right, did I turn the interior lights off? I don't need the battery dying on this. Okay, I'll be back. All right, hold on. Let's. All right, still at 8%. All right, here we go.
Don't see Tucker Carlson doing it.
I know. One day I'll have like a real studio, but again, I'm on like I'm away, so I'm making the most of it. All right, hold on.
You can't not talk about it.
I know. All right, 1 second.
Great comments, guys. Great comments. This may be the first one sucked though. Totally overrated.
Go to the bathroom then.
What is he going to do? Not talk on the one of the biggest days in the history of the site? Maybe the biggest day.
All right, I'm in the bathroom. Give me a minute.
Yes, Kim, I do Facebook. David Phillip. Yes, the Alberts are probably watching.
All right. Crap.
Yeah, he has done urinal videos. I believe that was at Norfolk County Courthouse with, I don't know how to say the guy's name, so I'm not even going to attempt to say it.
Be right back. Hold on.
Take your time.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, this has got to be a first. Got to be a first. I'm here. Fire away, guys. I just got like 52 friend requests right off the bat. Turtle Riders. The man's going to charge his phone. Is he not going to talk on the biggest day of the history of the website? You see the stories out here today? How long to plug in? Hopefully we can talk about that. Talk about the Google search. If you guys have seen me on Yellow Cottage Tales, I've talked a lot about the Google search and why it absolutely happened and the mechanics of how it happened. Holy shit. My timeline is blowing up. Yes, I will respond to all of these. All of these. Thank you.
All right. All right, I think we're back.
There he is, guys. All right. He's back.
All right, we're back. All right. We're back. Actually, can you sit on my webcam? Let me go better. Oh, let me do this real quick. Actually. Yeah, we'll just go with this cam. It's not as good, but whatever. All right, so we're talking about, I'll bring you back on there, Dave. Okay, live from the bathroom.
Here we are.
You hold it down all right?
I think so. Answered some comments, mingled.
Excellent, excellent. All right, back to the business. This is serious stuff. All right, so by the yard, appears like it's got a Facebook page. And by the way, when you Google Duncan Calvin Seaman, By the Yard Landscaping is the first company that comes up. They're not registered until 2023, but he's been posting pictures on his Facebook page of jobs they've done, like going back like a decade. So this guy is like a gypsy. Like he says he has a DBA, but I think you have to register the DBA with the town too. And who knows if he's done that, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Nowhere does it mention anything about them. I got to open this window. It's hot in here now. Okay. Nowhere does it mention anything about them. Whatchamacallit?
Having
plowing
a
any road.
town
Yeah, it doesn't mention anything about plowing any roads.
Right.
So this is the dummy corp. So this is basically just a dummy corporation that's been created by Michael Proctor. So again, the timing, do you think it's a coincidence that they just formed this on April 25th, 2023?
Of course not. Yeah, your first blog was on the 18th. Literally 7 days later, this thing gets incorporated and shows up in his police report, knowing full well that this company does not exist. It's just unbelievable.
I mean, I've thought I've seen it all. This is the craziest part about the story.
I agree.
That this is how committed this dude was to lying. Like the intentional misspellings of the names, the planting, the lying about when he. The lying about when he towed Cameron Reed's car from Dighton, not mentioning that he's known the Colin Albert his entire life.
Right.
None of this is the craziest part, was the creation of a fake company. That means they had to have a conversation with the Seaman guy and say, we need, we used your company. I wonder if they asked his permission where did they come up with this company? On February 3rd, 2022, why this company? Why did they pick this company as that's the dummy corporation? And because they must have known this guy, right? How else would they know that he would play ball? Right. And then they had to tell him, look at dude, there's this Turtle Boy guy who's writing about this guy, and he's going to look this up eventually. So we need to actually incorporate this company.
Right.
But in doing so, they made it sound even. They would have been better off if they just didn't incorporate it at all.
Well, yeah, right.
Then I would just be lost. But I'm wait, you did it a week after? Oh my God, that's even.
These guys are not bright. They're not smart, and it's amazing Proctor's dedication to dying in federal prison, which will undoubtedly happen with this.
You think so? Life? You think? Life.
Wow. I mean, man, there's a lot. There's a lot there, man. There's a lot there.
I don't know how this works. I don't know what the penalty is. I mean, it's a murder. I mean, you did this all to another cop.
Yep.
To another cop. You know what I mean? All life is valuable, but there's a certain unwritten code amongst police officers that if you do somebody that does that to a cop, they get it twice as bad. Yep. And you, dude, you covered for cop killers.
Yep.
What?
Really deep too. I mean, real deep.
Two little kids.
Beautiful wife, great career. You're going to retire in 20 years. You're young, half your pension. You could do anything at 45. You could be done and give it all away for O'Doyle. I mean,
O'Doyle rules. So it gets a little more interesting here. Like I said, here is their, whatever they call it. You have to explain when you incorporate what your company's going to do. And so he never mentions a word about any sort of plowing. I know a lot of landscapers do plowing in the winter, but they don't mention it here. And that they have 2 to 5 employees. Lucky Loughran is not one of them. I've reached out to Duncan Calvin Seaman. I don't understand where the Duncan part comes from. He was Calvin Seaman a while back, but that's another story. Haven't heard back, but he's not contracted with the town of Canton. And this means that either Michael Trotta made up a lie about this non-existent corporation that doesn't plow roads being contracted to plow on Fairview Road, which I can't understand what his motivation for making up that lie would be. Or the more plausible thing is Michael Proctor's just lying about what he said. Michael Proctor lied about what Cameron Reed told him. Cameron Reed has never stated that she did a 3-point turn. As a matter of fact, she has adamantly denied that through counsel that any 3-point turn ever occurred. And the only record of a 3-point turn is what Michael Proctor says that she said. So it's not the same thing. So, yeah. And the fact that they're parading this guy, I mean, I saw a good comment. I saw a lot of good comments today. I think Patrick R., I think he said something about how, like, I will lose all faith in the criminal justice system if this guy's allowed to remain a cop. Like, we all see this dude. Like, this guy is still doing murders. This dude is still, like, you can make him, like, okay, you can't fire him because they're the union, and I get it. You can put him in the back room somewhere, like, shuffling papers around. Like, there's remedies for this.
That's what they did to Brian Albert right now, allegedly. He's in some paper pusher job right now. So
yeah, I watched The Wire. Like, you put him in the freaking room. You know, you do what they did to McNulty in season 2. Throw him on a boat. Exactly. Like, throw him on a boat. Like, it's like you can do something. You don't, like, this guy doesn't need to be the lead investigator in Norfolk County anymore.
If your loved one dies in Norfolk County this weekend, it's very possible that this fucking guy is going to show up. Do you trust that?
I mean, we've seen no evidence that Michael Proctor has done this in any other cases. He seems to have done every other murder investigation by the book. The Brian Walsh one. So, like, he knows how. He's not incompetent, but that's what makes this one stand out more. It's like he's handled this one very differently from all the other ones. Like, he's making mistakes that he didn't make before. And, like, it's not even mistakes. I mean, it's misrepresentation when I say that. This is
blatant.
Yeah.
It's pretty blatant.
Planned. Organized.
Very
to cover
organized.
This. Yeah.
Very organized.
So back to the Seaman guy. I want to know more about him. And there is a man by the name of Dwight Seaman, who's a teacher at Blue Hills Technical School in Canton, and somehow lives in a $1.5 million home, one street away from Fairview Road. And he donated $500 to the Chris Albert campaign. The list of people who donated to Chris Albert is wild. Like, everybody we've covered is, like, on this list. Like, it's crazy. Every most powerful person in town donated to this guy. Like, it's wild.
Wow.
And Dwight is the husband of a woman named Tina. And from there, we were able to tie this family picture of Dwight and Tina with the daughter Danielle. And we go to Danielle's Visco account, and she's sharing pictures of her parents there. And then we go on Danielle's page, and first friend. Who is it? Jen McCabe.
Jen McCabe.
The first one. Like, the first, like, I'm like, what is with this incestuous town where the adults want to be friends with the kids? It's weird. Like, all the people born in 2001 or 2002, they all are friends with the people that were born in 1976. Like, it's weird. Like, even that night of the party, that was an after party for Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday. And all the adults want to come, like, Higgins, come over. John O'Keefe, come over to our house for some kid's birthday party who was in diapers when you went through the academy. Like, yeah, come over here, and you want to be part of this, don't you? Like, it's weird how these adults in Canton all want to become friends with their children and their children's friends. So whatever. So she's on, like, I don't know. I don't plan on ever hanging out with my kids' friends. Like, I'm good. Like, I got friends my own age. Like, I don't know. But they all do it. And so you go on there, and who's all over there? So where's Danielle? She's the little one right there. And there he is, Colin. How about this one with the Canton salute? Of course they do that. So who do we have here? We have, there's the McCabe girl.
McCabe, yeah.
This is an Albert right there. I've seen him doing the Canton salute with Colin before. Who else we got in this picture? We got this is the gallery girl. I think Sydney Gallery.
Sydney. Yep.
They're part of that group. What else we got? There's the McCabe girl. Yep. There's Colin. There's Danielle.
There's the McCabe girl. Okay. There's the McCabe girl. It's like she's in all of them. There's
You can tell a McCabe a mile away. They all
Yes, you can. Yeah. There's the gallery girl. They're all they all know each other, and they're like, why is it always Dylan Mulvaney light too? Like,
yeah.
look at this. Like, look at this kid's like 17 or 18, and you don't look it. Like, I think I don't want to spread rumors or anything, but like, might be a little juicy situation going on there with the anger and the chest muscles at such a young age. Like, and it adds up. And like, this is look at this picture. This is like the all American cool kid town picture. Like, this picture right here is exactly how Jennifer McCabe and Brian Albert and all these people, when they were growing up and they envisioned themselves having kids, this is what they envisioned, that they would be the cool kids in high school too, the bullies that get away with everything, the jocks that run the town. They run the town, they run the school. They are literally raising another generation of people just like them that have no morals, no ethics, that are willing to put an innocent woman in jail for a crime that she did not commit. And then you go on Danielle's, like, Danielle does have a direct connection to Duncan Calvin Seaman, the owner of the fake company that Michael Proctor says plowed 34 Fairview Road in order to cover for his murderous friends. So this was just like the wildest, most unexpected turn. Like, when I saw this, and I'm like, and so I made a post earlier today. I'm like, dude, I have 2 vlogs coming on this, and they're just going to blow your mind. They're just going to blow your mind. I was planning on writing about the Google search, and we should talk about that briefly because you've been on Yellow. Before we get into that, let me just read a turtle chat here from Biff. Sends $10. Says, here's a few bucks. Take Callaloo for a Dunkin' iced. We'll do. I don't know what Callaloo is, but our Kalu for a Dunkin' iced. Okay, I'll do that. And we got a couple cash apps here. First, we have Christine sends $20. Says, go Canton Little League. F. Kerry Roberts. Yeah, that picture of Kerry Roberts kissing Patrick Furbush there, and like, you can say his name, like it's in the papers. Like this idea that we're not supposed to say the name of this kid who, I mean, we're not saying bad things about him. Like, he's a star pitcher for the Little League team. We're not going to talk about that. They might make the national, the Little League World Series. Yes, ESPN. They're going to say his name on ESPN. Right. And ESPN loves the feel-good stories. There's no bigger feel-good story than Patrick, because he is an innocent kid who was 3 years old when his parents died and was taken in by his loving uncle and raised, and then his uncle was killed. There is no way they will not talk about that. Now, it's not a guarantee that Canton makes the Little League World Series. They got to get out of New England's, which luckily for them, Rhode Island and Connecticut appear to have seceded from New England. You only got to beat the small states, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. They kicked the crap out of Vermont. I guess they lost today to Maine 7-1. If they lose again, they're out. I guess they got New Hampshire coming up next. So if they beat them, then I would assume they'll get Maine again, and they would have to beat them twice. I'm assuming.
2 times, right? Yeah. And then
they have to work. Yeah. So like, they have their work cut out ahead of them. The odds are that Maine is going to be the team now that goes to the Little League World Series. But stranger things have happened, and if that does happen, which I'm sure Kerry Roberts and Jen McCabe want, because they want to be seen doing that picture. Like that picture we saw of Kerry Roberts kissing. Yeah. If you guys, I mean, I assume everyone has seen this, but sometimes my assumptions are wrong, and I'll show you guys real quick if you haven't seen it. There was a Brockton Enterprise reporter who took this image of Kerry Roberts kissing Patrick, and it was like in the paper, in the newspaper, and it says, let's see, it says Canton Little League Williamsport
there it is.
Player Williamsport. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is a funny story that I wish I had this tape. So like 21 years ago, a team from Worcester made the Little League World Series final. They were led by a kid named Keith Landers and another guy named Frankie Flynn. And it was pretty cool. They were from my part of the city too. And they not only made it there, they made it to the championship game, and then they played a team from Kentucky who was just a powerhouse because they had this kid. They had one kid named Zach Osborne who went on to play at the University of Tennessee, and then they had this other kid, Aaron Alvey, who was my size, except he was 12, and he was like, if you look him up, he's one of the greatest Little League players in Little League World Series history. Like what he did in this tournament. They kicked the crap out of Worcester. Not a single. They beat Japan. Usually the American team loses to Japan. They beat Japan, and this guy was the dominant player. Now, as it happens, I look exactly like him. Like it's weird. He was, except I was 20 at the time, and he was 12. And so I'm down at this parade in Worcester for the kids because we threw. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. And so there was a parade congratulating the kids in Worcester about their amazing run. And I'm down there, and all of a sudden, people keep coming up to me, little kids with their moms, and they're like, "You're Aaron Alvey," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Aaron Alvey, sure." Like, he's from Kentucky. Like, what am I? Yeah, Aaron Alvey's here. Like to gloat. Like, what Aaron Alvey?
Yeah.
And they're like, so like, but I'm like, and my friends, two of my friends, and they're like, "Dude, just go along with it," and I'm like, "Come on, no one's gonna believe that." And so next time someone came up to me, I'm like, sure. And so I started signing T-shirts and autographs. Like, and so next thing you know, a crowd's starting to form. And so they bring this reporter over from, I think it was Fox 25. It was John Monahan. And they bring John Monahan over, and he's like, he thinks he's got the big scoop. And he's like, "Are you Aaron Alvey?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm 20. I'm going into my junior year in college. I'm like, this isn't happening right now. And no way. And so like he starts interviewing me. And I do like a 2-minute interview, and I'm like, okay, my two friends behind me cracking up the whole time. We get out of there like we just got away with something. Like, dude, no way this is gonna air. No way. Headline news that day. Yeah. Like I was like the main feature of the feature. They show my whole interview. Somebody's got to find that tape for me. I had that tape for a long time. When I was a teacher, I would show kids. I had it burned to a DVD. I don't know where it is. If you guys can find that video, it's the funniest video you've ever seen. Aaron Alvey went on to do nothing. He's like a biggest loser now. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I told him the whole story. He sells cars in Louisville. He didn't grow at all. He stayed this size, and he got in trouble with the law. He's a loser. But so it didn't work out that way. But anyway, so that's my story about the Little League World Series. Anyway,
and did you do it in your accent too? They didn't pick up that.
I tried to do a little accent, but I can't do the Amiri King accent. I was just like, they played us really hard, and they did their like. I'm trying to be 12. It gets weird to try to be 12. You have to be like socially awkward. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, there's no way they're going to air this, and they aired it. Like, if you guys see this interview, it's gold. It's gold. Anyway, so Furbush is on this team. He's the pitcher. And he's like had a couple of RBIs against Vermont. He's all over the place. And these people are just exploiting this kid who has so much potential and was loved by not only John, but also Karen, and was not only had him stolen from her, then they poisoned this kid's brain with lies that this woman who was involved in his life was actually a bloodthirsty murderer the whole time. Like, think of what that does to a kid's psyche. That's evil to do that to a kid. And then they have it sponsored by D&E Pizza, owned by this noodle. Like, look at like, dude, this guy, like, dude, you know what your family did, and you sponsored John O'Keefe's kids anyway. Team. You're such a douchebag. Like, who does? Like, that's so twisted. And this guy, like they're the ones that own. And so the Brockton Enterprise posts this picture. I mean, look at Peggy O'Keefe. Everyone's so sorry for Peggy O'Keefe. She's kind of twisted too. I mean, she obviously doesn't care about her kid. She's conspiring with Krusty Panties. Like they're friends. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about this woman. And like,
that's true. So that's real. She's friends with Krusty.
Oh yeah. Like, they're all in. She's in the group too. They're all on. And so like they're all working together. And you see Kerry Roberts in there. And by the way, they've appointed her chief of Krusty Panties. Like, she's the official spokesperson. They will not talk to the media. Anything that Krusty says you can assume came from Jen McCabe, Kerry Roberts, and the rest of them. She and Lizzie Proctor, because they don't speak publicly, any of those people. So they are speaking through her because, again, they have no voice. They need a voice. And that's the best that they can come up with is this YouTube loser with no credibility. That shows you how desperate they are, right? That they're going to somebody like that for help.
That's
so like
incredible.
Yeah, like with this picture right here, it's just like this looks like that World War II picture in Times Square. Like this is staged. Like this is like who kisses a child? Like he looks uncomfortable, and you're posting this picture. He looks like who does this to a kid?
And she would have also had to give him. She would have had to told the lady whoever took it her name, so she knew.
Exactly. It's in the caption. It says, so that means like she knew it was going to be in the newspaper. And she's like, yeah, it's okay. Put me in the newspaper. I give you my permission. Right. This picture of me kissing this child who is not my own, put it in the newspaper, and for all the people saying that, oh, he yelled at John O'Keefe's mom. Let me play this little clip here real quick, just to clarify this. My lounge lizard, who I've had many disputes with in the past, I find Lounge Lizard to be very fair on the issue of Canton, and this is what actually happened when when John O'Keefe's mother showed up. Watch this, just in case there's any doubt about what happened. Let's roll the tape.
No. John's parents. We're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
Right.
It's John's parents.
Yep.
That's a leader right there, folks. Like, I'm sorry, we did not boo when people started to boo, and I'm like, no, not that one. We're not booing that one.
I was standing right there when you did that. Standing right there when you did that. Also, not to cut you off, but have you seen the FBI lady on Twitter, Coffin Daver? She must have worked for the FBI because she's real.
I got something coming on her.
Okay. She showed that video, and I corrected her because your voice isn't played in it. And I said, if you just play the whole video in its entirety, you'll see Aidan said, hey, it's John. No one knew that was John's parents. They were just booing everything.
I recognized it right away. As soon as I saw it was John's mom, I'm like, nope, not this one. You can boo Carl. You can boo these other D-bags. We're not booing this one. Like, we're leaving that one alone, okay? As much as I think she's completely wrong and harmful and is hurting her grandkids, we're not going there. We're not doing that. So, so this idea that you can't show this is just anybody who's saying that can go to hell. Like, seriously, don't take these people seriously that say that, because they don't give a damn that this picture was posted in the newspaper, and they don't care that, like, they're the ones putting this kid out there. And then when you bring it up, they're like, how dare you talk about the kids? What? No. We're not going to be gaslit like that. You could take that game elsewhere. We're not falling for that, for this piece of trash, Kerry Roberts, who is, she knows exactly what she's doing. Like, she's befriended Jen McCabe. That's all you need to know. She does not have that kid's best interest at heart, period. So let's talk about, last thing here, the Google search. Now, I've been watching you on Yellow Cottage Tales with Kevin from Worcester, and I like Kevin. He's a really nice guy. He comes across as really likable guy. But and I think he's been fair. But it seems like, in my opinion, when I'm watching him, and I had him on here a couple weeks ago, he's playing it so safe, and he's just doing the whole, like, I want to hear it all. It's like Kevin, and he's doing that with the Google search. Okay. I can understand that with some stuff, but the Google search happened, and you've been defending it vociferously. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I studied digital forensics in school. When I got out of the Army, I had this. I looked and I was like, I want to get to the FBI maybe. And I was reading that accounting and digital forensics was the best way to get to the FBI. So I was like, let me study computer science and then minor in digital forensics. And what that basically is the study of how to pull data from cellular devices, iPads, laptops, whatever. So obviously I didn't work in the field, ended up being a CO, but I at least, I studied it every day of my life for 3 years. And a lot of people don't understand, because it is a newish science. 89% of crimes nowadays are prosecuted or defended with some sort of digital data or digital data pull or forensics involved. So it is a newish science. So cell phones have been around 30 years. And, there's a lot of misinformation regarding the Google search. And it is not a murky issue. There is no gray area like there is a lot of things in life. In criminal cases, there's a lot of gray area on things, but there isn't any when it comes to digital dumps and digital data being pulled, especially by a guy like Richard Green, who's the most reputable guy on this part of the coast in doing that. And
right.
You pointed out to me the other night, which was I didn't even know.
We're going to talk about that. That's what I'm leading into here is what we're about to get into, which I have not had a chance to blog about. But before I get it, somebody pointed out I get a little sidetracked sometimes.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong Cash App here. Okay. Let me read my Cash Apps. So Christine sent that 20 about the. See, I got sidetracked with the Canton Little League. Then we have. Ernest sends $50. Says he goes for Lucky's last name is pronounced Loughran. Oh, well, thank you very much, Ernest, and thank you for the dono. I appreciate it. Lucky Loughran. Okay. Adam Hurst sends $5. Says I'll give you $100 if you take a dump on the live show. Stop it. That's inappropriate, Adam. I'm not doing that. I think I did offer that to one woman like 4 years ago. I've matured since then. This is new. I'm much more serious now. So thank you, Adam. Caitlin Poole sends $10 and says, love that you're in your car like the good old days. That is how the live show started, in my car, believe it or not. Me pointing my iPhone at the screen and being like typing, you can see my fingers and stuff. Like it was bootleg, but it got the job done. Anita Guasvicis sends $15 and says, don't back down, Turtle Boy. You are amazing. I wasn't planning on it. So thank you very much, Anita. I appreciate that. Joe sends $10, says, please rub salty, milky liver creams on your areola. Okay. Next. Kerry sends $25, says, very proud of you. John is looking down and smiling. Well, thanks. That means a lot, Kerry. I appreciate that. And Carrie Ann Cormier sends $10, says, shout out to Christine and turtle riding pup Napoleon. So shout out Christine and the turtle riding pup Napoleon. Absolutely. Make sure I missed any turtle chats over here. Got a couple. Annette sent another 50. I don't know if it's the same Annette. Says, I have never been on TikTok. My friends told me to go on there and see all your stuff. Well, now I'm on there fighting with that jerk off boundless millennial sticking up for you. He's an idiot. I mean, he's not a serious person. So
we communicated earlier today. So go ahead.
Oh, you spoke with him?
Yeah, I just want to know what his credentials are in the field. And I'm not saying you have to be credentialed to have any discussion on it, but I mean, he knows nothing about it. So
yeah, his credentials is he's a Lispy. If you go back on his videos, he was initially saying he believed Karen Reed. And then all of a sudden he was using our content without mentioning it or giving us credit. And the girl that runs our TikTok commented and said, why aren't you crediting us with this? And I think he took that personally because all of a sudden he decided actually Karen Reed's guilty. And so when you listen to this guy, he's not a serious person. So I'm not going to waste too much time on anything he says. But that's why I don't go on TikTok, is that idiots like him have, audiences on there and influence, and who cares?
Right.
So there's that. By the way, love Dave and Sean McDonough. Keep bringing them on. We'll do. Erica sends $27, says, for the number of Karen Reed pins that were picked up for free today. So many people don't know about this case, but are now having conversations and reading up on it. Oh, I love it. We have started a movement here. So many great interactions with people in my community today, all talking about this case. I love hearing stuff about that. I love seeing the Canton Town Board of Selectboard meeting. That's just this organic uprising that I had, again, nothing to do with. I didn't even know there was a meeting tonight. I'm in Cape Cod, you know what I mean? Like, and that's wild. People like you and Kevin are doing a whole sideshows about it. Like there's just so much discussion about it, and that's great. Like any discussion, I think, is good discussion. Unicorn sends $100. Thank you, Unicorn. Says, thank you for being a unicorn with huge balls. Oh, thank you. We need more men like you. Johnny was such a good man. Thank you for trying to bring him justice and freeing Karen Reed. Hoss long till you get a studio. Honestly, that's coming soon. I need like a real studio to conduct this out of. I think I've moved to the next level where that's appropriate. So I think we need to start getting on that. Also, Erica sends $27 and says, for the 27 people in the Taunton area that showed up to pick their pins today, such great dialogue with many. Well, thank you very much, Erica, for those donos. Okay. All right. So back to the thing. So I've been watching your whole show there with Kevin, and I've sent you some new documents, and I think you show these documents to Kevin because he sounded like he changed his tune a little last night.
I didn't show them to him, but I went over them with him in depth because apparently he needs somebody other than me to tell him. He wants to see, he thinks experts should be all over the place shouting from the heavens that none of this is that, everything that the prosecution is saying isn't true. He's wondering why that isn't true. And I just wanted to go over it with him because it is a really boring subject if you don't understand, you know what I mean? It's 11:17 at night. To get into it right now would to kill the listeners, but so I've gone over a little bit with him and pushed back into his head more. He was close anyway, and he knows in his heart that Karen Reed is innocent, just like any other person with a functioning brain. They know,
right.
But
so why is he doing it? Why is he doing this whole I don't know, what's up with that? Because he's building an audience, and whether or not he likes it and wants it, the words he's using matter. Shouldn't he be a little more thoughtful? If you're going to have this audience and this show, a lot of people are watching, don't you kind of owe it to your audience to put in a little more thought and have a stronger take than that? That's just, I like Kevin, but that's just my take on it.
That's a great question. I think his response to that, Aidan, would be, I do put a lot of thought into it. I know what his response to that would be. And if any of you guys watch the show, every time I push on him about the Google search, it's an angry sort of back and forth.
Oh, he gets angry.
Yeah.
How?
And
he seems so level-headed. I can't.
He is, but on this, for some reason, we kind of, because I'm so adamant because I know that,
So let's just review this. So basically in April, this whole case changes when it's revealed. So Nicholas Guarino, the forensic expert for the state police, does a data extraction from Jen McCabe's phone, which she handed over voluntarily. He does not show anything about any Google searches at 2:27 a.m., doesn't show any phone calls or any deleted phone calls that happened between 5 and 7 a.m. She deleted dozens of phone calls. And none of that comes up in his data extraction report. Nothing suspicious in her phone at all. Well, the defense is doesn't smell right. So they hire their own forensic expert because they don't trust Nicholas Guarino in the state police. Right. And this guy's name is Richard Green. Now, he wrote an affidavit. Let me, I got to pull up his affidavit on MassCourts. Give me 1 second to pull it up. But Richard Green owns a company. I forget what it's called, but it's based out of, it's in Sarasota, Florida. And he is a world-renowned data forensic expert. He's a nerd. And it's his job, in the digital age, attorneys hire him to find stuff that gets deleted because people delete evidence now. And there is a way to find it. Oh, yeah. But it's such a specific skill set that only, people like him who have a long and documented background in this are able to find. So let me pull up and bring up Karen's docket right now. And we're going to bring up the affidavit of Richard Green and just look at it to kind of, so basically he says all this. And then I'm thinking game over. And Kevin himself has said that if the Google search is legitimate, that she searched how long did Diane cold at 2:27 a.m., that means it is a conspiracy to throw him on the lawn and kill him. Everyone agrees to that. That's why they're trying so hard to deny now that this happened. Because I assumed it was game over. I'm like, what are they going to say? But they had the audacity on May 3rd to go into court and say, no, that never happened. And we're going to show you why it didn't happen. They still haven't done that. They went on some rant about how Waze search and all this gobbledygook, and they provided no evidence. And then all of a sudden on May 25th, we were supposed to have an evidentiary hearing to decide who is telling the truth about this. Because, Rick Green's allegedly an expert. You're saying that the Commonwealth is saying that what Richard Green's data extraction is wrong. So show us what we got wrong. You know, like what, like that was their chance to voir dire him. I think that's the term. And like, if you didn't think he was an expert, that was your chance to expose him. Instead of doing that, they canceled the evidentiary hearing. So I'm bringing up Richard Green's affidavit right now, and we're going to look it over real quick.
Richard Green is one of the OGs of digital forensics, literally one of the first in the field. He's taught. Yes. He's the authority on this.
So this is what his affidavit says. And I think what I took particular issue with Kevin is that Kevin stated that they insinuated that he's a hired gun. Well, the defense pays him. Well, first of all, Kevin, of course, you think he's working for free? Like, you just do this for I'll have to do this voluntarily. I'll just I'll waste my, like his time isn't valuable. Of course you have to pay him. It's unfortunate that, who's going to have to pay him? The defense is paying him? No. Not that the defense is paying him. Karen Reed is paying him out of pocket. Right. And if he comes back with something in there that does not help, she still has to pay. So they're not paying for an outcome. They're paying for him to do a job, a full data extraction. And so what Kevin is insinuating in that is that Richard Green is possibly corrupt. That's insulting. And so this is his affidavit that he wrote under the pains and penalty of perjury. I'm a data forensic expert with the United States Forensic LLC. I'm a certified computer examiner, certified with the International Association of Computer Forensic Examiners, and hold certifications in cybersecurity, computer crime investigations, and digital forensic and computer investigations. But meanwhile, who does the prosecution have? They got Nicholas Guarino.
Who by the way, knew nothing about digital forensics in the Sandra Birchmore case. Couldn't find a thing on Farwell's phone. I don't know. Knew nothing.
Matthew Farwell deleted all of his messages with Sandra Birchmore. He's like, I can't find them because they're deleted. And that's how he is the definition of like a neophyte. He doesn't know the first thing. He's a cop. What does he know? I want a nerd, not a cop. Richard Green's a nerd. The following facts and information are based on my own personal knowledge. I could testify completely there too, if called upon as an expert witness to do so. Like, I will say anything. I declare that the following is true and correct to the best of my knowledge, and Kevin, that I have no personal interest in the outcome of this case. He swore that under the pains and penalties of perjury, that he doesn't care. He's not here to work for Karen Reed. He is here to do a data extraction, and that is what he did. So if you're calling him a liar, then just come out and say it, because that is what he's saying here. So he does the whole data extraction thing. He explains it all here. And he says that here we have in my professional experience, analysis of the device, internet search history often gives valuable clues as to the user's intent or knowledge surrounding an incident, and blah, blah, blah. He finds How Long to Die in Cold at 2:27 a.m. and 40 seconds. Now, this has also been addressed by the defense in court on May 24th. I'm going to play a couple clips here from Alan Jackson on that day that I want Kevin and anyone else out there who is saying, I don't know about the Google search. Please listen carefully to what was said here. Listen to this.
Because their expert, Mr. Guarino, indicated, you can't rely on the timestamp of How Long to Die in Cold, because that's at the exact same time as the Ozark basketball webpage was brought up. So something must have gone wrong. I don't really know what it was, but it must have been something. Well,
so again, that is what the original response to this was, that she was not looking. She couldn't have Googled How Long to Die in Cold at 2:27 a.m. because she was actually looking at her kid's basketball website, the Ozark basketball, because that did populate. And that is true. That did populate at 2:27. And there's a simple explanation for that. So here we go.
What we would do, had we had an opportunity to cross-examine Mr. Guarino, is perhaps explain to him that which he doesn't know, which is the following. More than one web page can be up and open on a cell phone at any given time. The court knows this. Everybody who owns a cell phone knows this. You can have multiple pages open. One page is sitting on top of the other. and then there are multiple pages behind it. All those pages are still open and potentially running in the program, in the iPhone. The 227, how long to die in cold search, was nanoseconds, milliseconds before the Ozark basketball search page came up.
Right.
How did Apple Cocoa Core Time relate those two events, those two artifacts on the phone? It happened like this. At some point, she searched, used her thumbs. The Apple iPhone doesn't coordinate the timestamp for when she's using her thumbs. People type faster, people type slower. It coordinates when someone exits out of a search. In other words, when you close that web page. She obviously Google searched how long to die in cold. We know that because we found the search. The deletion was not the deletion of the search, it was the deletion of the page. And as soon as that page was deleted, the other page behind it, Ozark Basketball, was immediately populated. And
so that explains why two searches came up. And they were nanoseconds apart. You search for how long to die in cold. As he mentioned, they're not even contending that she searched it exactly at 227.
No.
They're contending that she X'd out of that window, that she had done the search. She could have done it 5 minutes before 222. She X'd out at 227 and 40 seconds. And when that happens, that's why nanoseconds, it automatically populates the next, because most of us have more than one Safari window open in our phone right now. And a lot of us don't close them. And so if you delete one, it will, the next one is the next one that will come up in the data extraction, even though you're not actively looking at that website. So at some point earlier, she was looking at her kid's basketball thing, which is twisted. And then she did a murder, and then that populated up afterwards. So there's that. Okay. So this is like explaining, you know, iPhones to boomers. Like that's what Alan Jackson do here.
Immediately, not at the same time, nanoseconds behind it. We actually have the nanoseconds.
So there, let me play part two here because there's a couple parts. I couldn't do this in one clip here. It wouldn't let me share it. So let me, the next clip here.
Seconds. It's 5 digits beyond the decimal point. We know exactly how that happened and why it happened. And Rick Green, our expert, has verified that not through one, not through two, but 5 different tools, establishing exactly how long that it took for the Ozark page to populate behind the how long to die in cold page once Jennifer McCabe exited out of that page, if that makes sense. So we know that she was Googling how long to die in cold at minimum, 3 hours before John O'Keefe's body was ever found. This is not some anomaly. It's not a question. It's not, as their new expert says, unknown why the Google search took place, or the timestamp is what it is at 2:27:40. We actually know. Rick Green knows. His colleagues know. And the scientific community knows. Mr. Lally also said, Jennifer McCabe, she didn't delete anything. This stuff just happens. Well, stuff just doesn't delete itself on an iPhone. Everybody that has an iPhone, every 4-year-old that has an iPhone knows that stuff doesn't just delete itself. That's not how iPhones work.
Right. Right. So let me play the last clip here. 3 clips. So it doesn't just delete itself. Like somebody had to do that. So why is she deleting stuff? Why? How about all those phone calls? Like, how do they explain that those just disappeared, the calls to Coco at 6:07 and 6:08? How come Nicholas Guarino didn't find that in his data extraction? Why would you feel the need to delete that if you did nothing wrong? I'll play the last clip.
What I will tell you is that what Mr. Lally said about her report is not quite true.
Oh.
He didn't quite get that right either. What she actually said is why the timestamp is listing the time of 2:27 and 40 seconds in the morning is unknown.
Oh.
Her words.
Unknown.
So Lally claimed that their defense expert, who they didn't even name, her name is Katie Hyde, their new expert, that she refuted the Google search.
Right.
As Alan Jackson just stated there, she didn't refute it. She said it was unknown. No. And so that's really important to point out.
He said about the timestamp. If her conclusion is the reason for the definitive timestamp is unknown to her. Well, we know why it is, because we've had more time to distill it. There's something, and I'll take this opportunity since Mr. Lally brought it up and tried to explain what his theory, an incorrect theory of the timestamp is. I'll take a minute to explain what the actual true facts are. An Apple iPhone has a clock in it. It actually has two internal clocks. One of those internal clocks is run by a program known as Apple COCOA Core Time. The Apple Cocoa Core Time is the number of seconds from January 1st, 2001 until right now. So for instance, if I open my phone, which I just did, Apple Cocoa Core timestamp just noted the exact moment that I just opened my phone. And it's noted from January 1st, 2001. Right now, actually in 2022, January 2022, those numbers of seconds was around 665 million. About 665 million seconds had passed between January 1st to midnight, 2001 to January 29th, around midnight, around 2:27 in the morning on January 29th, 2022. Why is that important? Because
okay, so anyway, so you got the point there. So let me now bring up, because we haven't really analyzed this as much because it's all out there, and why not just look at it? So let's actually look at the documentation here about Hyde's report. Does Katie Hyde's report refute what Rick Green said? And the answer to that is no, it does not. Okay, this is her actual report. There's her emblem right there. It says that testing shows great inconsistency with timestamps parsed from this file. It is, however, definitive that the page, she's talking about the Google search for how long to die in cold, that the page existed in a tab at 227, while a definitive reason as to why the timestamp is listing the time of 227 is unknown.
Right.
Unknown. So at no point, Adam Lally, does she say that this never happened? Right. She says, I don't know why it said 2:27 a.m. It said 2:27 a.m., dear, because that's what time it happened. Okay. And it was explained to you. And Rick Green, of course, could probably explain it in a much nerdier way. So, and then here's this. It says, instances of Google search for how long to die in cold. With the information available to us in the right ahead log, we are able to see a column called last viewed time, which contains an Apple WebKit timestamp. It is important to note that this timestamp is not the time of entry in the database. Rather, this timestamp is described as the time that the tab moved to the background. And guess who agrees with that? The defense agrees with that. That is what he just said right there. This timestamp is described as the time that the tab is moved to the background. At 2:27 a.m., she X'd out of the Google search. Testing shows this timestamp to not be the time that the website was viewed, but correlates instead to the movement of the tabs away from the active winner. They agree. They don't disagree. They agree. That is again, this is what Rick Green found. This is not Rick Green saying this. This is Celebrate. The most trusted computer software for data extraction on phones, and it specifically says value. Okay, so what it said: how long to die in cold? 2:27 a.m. Origin unknown. Deleted. Yes. And then this one. This is the other search for how long to die in cold at 6:23. This is so she realized.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like at 227, and she did that. She's like, shit, that wasn't smart. Like, and now she's like, I'm gonna do it again.
Right.
I'm gonna delete that one, and then I'll do it again at 2. And she realized I spelled it the wrong way too.
Right.
And so I believe if you spell it wrong the first time, it might come up with your suggested. So anyway, so she does it again after finding the body. She's like, okay, it'll make sense if I do it at this time. It wouldn't make sense at 227. That makes me look guilty. So if I do it the second time, maybe that will mask or hide the first one. This is how Jennifer McCabe is thinking. So she Googles in a state of panic. She's like, let's Google how long, like, first of all, that's wild that you like, let's Google this. It's wild that you would even think to do that. But that's, you know, and is it deleted? No, she kept this one. But she also spelt it wrong. She said, how long tie-dye in kicked. She's like, no, wait a minute. That's not what I Googled before. I need, if I want to override the last one, I got to spell it the same exact way I did before.
Right.
Plus it's 24. She does Haas long to die in cold. Okay. And here is the raw data time that Alan Jackson was talking about to the nanosecond. How many seconds since January 1st, 2000, I think 2000 or 2001 to now? Like, so they have the exact nanosecond that this happened at. Okay. And so there's that. So there it is. You know,
there it is.
There it is. Like, there it is, guys. Case closed. It happened. Like, Katie Hyde does not disagree that it happened. She agrees. And the worst thing she said is it's unknown. She never once said it did not happen. That's what Adam Lally told you that she said. But Adam Lally did not present that document in court. Right. We had to go find it. And we did. We do our homework around here. So we pulled that out. And it's like, oh, so he lied about, because I heard Alan Jackson's speech there. And I'm like, let's look into this. And I look into it, and it's like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah. It's funny how everything the defense, people like, you're shilling for the defense. It's everything the defense says, they back up. Everything prosecution says never comes to fruition. Right. So, like, I followed the facts, and the defense is the only party here bringing facts to the matter. And what does the prosecution bring? How many drinks did she have at C.F. McCarthy's? Right. Oh, she's crazy. Or she hurt Carl Dougal's feelings while experiencing trauma. It's like, this is the best they have. And it's pathetic. And I love watching it. I love that the only person that they can go to for help is she of Canton. You know, she of crust. Okay. Yeah. That is the only person that they can go to. When you have, and maybe the gay guy on TikTok, like, that's it. Other than that, you're alone. And you got nothing. And like, this is the once allegedly all-powerful family of the. It's like that needs to stop too. It's like, they're not the Sopranos, okay? These guys sell shit pizza in Canton, and they sponsor teams. Like, they're not like, this is not the mafia. Like, I'm not afraid of these losers. Like, stop it. Like, you're a loser. Like, these are low-class people who happen to live in a nice town because they were born there. Like, they got grandfathered in. If these guys were born and raised in Dorchester or something and wanted to get out of the projects, they wouldn't be living again because they're broke. Like, these guys are generational. That's why they're living in Canton. Canton's an expensive town to live in. It's too nice for them. Oh, luckily, property value is going down, because of these actions. So God bless those people.
Seriously, thank you.
Thank you to all of them. Let's keep that up. Let's keep going to these the selectmen meetings. Let's fill those things. It is unacceptable for her to do that. And I loved, all of you guys speaking tonight, I made my heart warm because, again, the best part about that, I had nothing to do with it. This is all organic. I love seeing it. I love seeing that. Okay. One more turtle chat here says, I hate people. Please give us the dirt on that lot lizard, Michelle Nally. So we're going to get to her when we talk about the group there that has been formed, the support group that she is an active member of. And did you see Pooposaurus becoming unhinged at the Canton Shaws? No, I did not. She's such a CUNT. Keep up the stellar work. Journalism Jesus. Dude, that is the best nickname ever. I love journalism.
Run with that. Run with that.
Is that ripping off Kirk Minahan because he's like podcast Jesus?
You didn't name
Yeah.
yourself. I mean, there's plenty of different Jesuses. Football Jesus, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Max Edwards sends $20, says, do you have any of the garage pods available I don't know if they're still around. I used to do the late night garage podcast. That's how I first started calling the show before it was Turtle. I used to do the show only on podcast, and then I found out about the live element. I'm like, whoa, that's way better. Let's do lives. Yeah. So
what year would that have been? 15? 14?
No, that was like 2017, right around the time I started doing the streams. So yeah. All right, why don't we, in this show, guys, this is on Spotify. There's a million ways to consume this content. We had a record crowd tonight. We had 3.8 thousand live viewers at one point. It's almost midnight. We got 2,500 people here cooking. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. We're up to 1.2 thousand likes. It's great to see. Leave a comment afterwards. It helps with the algos. And keep spreading the word. We're about to get to 40,000 subs on here. And by the way, if you haven't done so, also subscribe to our Rumble channel. I forgot to promote the Rumble tonight. Because they're going to kick us off this platform eventually. I feel like it's going to happen. So it's always good to have a backup. So go on Rumble. Okay. Why don't we do do you have anything else to say before we do a little Q&A?
No, man. Thank you so much. I'm enjoying your success. I appreciate
it.
Oh,
thanks, brother. You've been around. You're a Worcester guy, right?
No, Boston guy. I've been to Worcester like twice in my life. Yep.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Now I'm in Bristol County. I couldn't be farther away from you. I'm in Rhode Island.
Okay. Yeah, because I used to write obviously a lot about Worcester in my early days. And then, like you said, the Tarantino story, Auburn, town next door. So I did a lot of local stuff. And then that evolved around 2017. We started doing more. I brought in some writers who would write in different regions and brought people on. Oh, I forgot to do where you're repping. There's too many people for where you're repping tonight. I used to do where you're repping, and I can't even get to you people anymore. Oh, it's growing problems. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'll be on Court TV again tomorrow night at 8:00 for an interview on there. So looking forward to that. So tune into Court TV. And do you guys have any questions? Let's see. Check out the statue next time you visit. Oh yeah. I've taken this. A lot of people don't know this started with a statue of a boy. Looks like he's eating a turtle. He's actually riding it. So get your head out of the camera. I called out the FBI lady, and she didn't block me. I haven't been blocked by her. I'm going to get to her. I got a lot to say on the FBI lady on Twitter.
She's got to be FBI because she's so dumb.
It's just it's like we need the feds, unfortunately, but luckily they're all nice. I wonder how she feels now. Now that it's been confirmed that her own organization is looking into this. Do you feel stupid now? You probably don't. But
don't they have the chance to be the real heroes here and really fix their image problem?
Totally.
Huge.
Because this is a win-win. This isn't political. It's like, don't kill people and throw them on your front lawn and then cover it all up. Can't do it. Can't do it. Right. Left and right agrees on that. Can't do it. I know. Okay. How long you been on vacation? My vacation, I've been here since last Sunday. But my thing is I take a week off. They're staying a little longer, and I'm just working from here. It's nice. It's raining the last couple of days, so it hasn't been as nice, but it's just so freaking dope living here. Dude, this is being here makes me want to work harder because I'm I want a house on the Cape. I want to be Auntie Bev. I want to have a Cape. You're dude, you got getting the Cape house is the ultimate sign of success in Massachusetts.
I made it.
Yeah. Okay. Other people, any other questions? Did Brian Albert call Lucky? I didn't ask him that, but no, he did not. Lucky he actually said that he was assigned to go there by, his bosses, which would be Trottle. Wonder if Bukaki, no, oh, stop it. It took me a minute to get that one. Okay. Anybody else have anything to say? What is the over-under date on the first arrest? I'd say 3 months. That's my over-under right now. Today's August 8th,
October,
right?
November.
Yeah, let's say November 8th is the over-under. Let's give it that. Is the Ford Edge Brian's wife's car? No, Brian's wife's car drives a Cadillac. He drives the Ford Edge. So she drives a nicer car than him. Anybody else have any other questions that I missed?
A lot of people looking for Higgins info. A lot of Higgins stuff.
So all I have is rumors, and I don't report rumors as facts. I mentioned it last night that I've gotten 2 emails from people who don't know each other and both claim, and I've checked out both the sources. They're legit people, but they have no evidence, so I can't report that. But they both claim that Higgins has flipped and made a deal. I can't prove that, but it would make sense. It would definitely make sense because, well, somebody's gonna have to flip, and if I were Higgins, I'd be one of the first ones to.
Yeah,
because eventually Cameron Reed's not going to jail. Someone is, and they're going to point the finger at you, my dude. You don't want to be that guy.
Sure.
You don't want to be that guy. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? The group is called like MOAs or something like that, like McCabe's, O'Keefe's, and Albert's. Of course, they named it after like a county, but like Mao, like seriously. And I like how they throw O'Keefe in there too. Like they need ours. Like they're all lumping them together. I'm like, dude, but Albert and McCabe killed O'Keefe. Okay.
Right.
And then you're hiding behind we care about the O'Keefes. No, you don't. If you're supporting them, you don't. Stop it. Will Karen have recourse for a major civil settlement? Absolutely, she will.
Huge.
And not only her, Lucky Loughran could have himself a nice little payday as well, quite frankly.
They're literally going to divide the town in half. I mean,
yeah,
where they're going.
I mean, I got nothing on Wanless. That's a Sean on the Gulf original. I got nothing to back it up, so I don't report things I can't back up. Do you think that? So you talk to the neighbors on Fairview. Do you know if any ring videos have been submitted for evidence? No. I mean, I know a couple people that live on Cedar Crest and Dedham who have had Proctor and Bukaki show up at their door asking for ring camera footage, trying to get a glimpse of Karen Reed's car on the way home with the broken taillight. Didn't happen because she didn't go that way. They did not try, because their narrative depends on her going that way, doing the 3-point turn and going north. And so they didn't go to a single house going south. They only got houses going north. Why did Lucky say it wasn't? I mean, I think he's I don't know. Like, I don't think he's intentionally lying or anything like that, but I think he's mistaken. I think the odds of a Ford Edge being out there at that time and not being Brian, the owner of the house owns a Ford Edge. I think it's, slim. I think it's much more likely that Lucky is mistaken with that. But again, Lucky, we got your back, dude. Don't worry. Does Chris Albert end up resigning? Absolutely not. Like, they called for him to resign today, and he ain't doing it. Like, you're underestimating what a meathead this dude is. Oh, you got to recall him.
Just so arrogant.
Exactly. You got to go. Like, I will support the most radical communist lefty. Anyone.
Absolutely.
Like the most wild feminist, transgender, whatever. To overthrow these people, like, just as like whatever, like, they gotta go. They gotta go, man. I mean, I don't live in the town, so it won't be my problem if they take over. But it can't be any worse. It can't be any worse than murder.
I was gonna say, how could they get worse?
Right. Okay. All right. Anyway, I think we will call it. We got one more turtle chat here. Annette sends another 25. Hi, Annette, again for the third time. She looked more guilty when she Googled it at 6:30 because obviously he was already dead. So what difference at that point, how long he was out in the cold? That's actually a really good point, and she would have no idea. Can't even think of that.
Great point.
Yeah. And then Madison sends $5 and just says, free Karen. So on that note, guys, free Karen Reed, free Karen Reed, protect Lucky, arrest Michael Proctor, and let's keep this energy going, folks. Love what you people are doing out there. We're going to keep the stories coming, and we'll see you guys for Turtle Club on Thursday. We'll see everybody else for the live show on Saturday night. And thank you again, Dave, for joining us.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
We will see you guys all soon. Peace, Turtle Riders.